Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. After another record-setting performance for the Dow yesterday, North American stock futures little changed once again this morning. Investors cheered the initial decision from the Fed yesterday afternoon, not only to keep rates unchanged for the time being, but also in the accompanying statement saying that there's no plans to raise interest rates until 2023 at the earliest. So we'll talk about the Fed decision. We'll talk about the move that happened in the overall market just following the Fed decision coming up. We also saw the 10-year back to the upside this morning, 1.74 and change currently. That has some selling pressure coming back in, especially to tech stocks and anything growth related. The rally, though, lifted the Dow above the 33,000 mark for the first time ever yesterday. It closed above 33,000. The S&P up about 0.3%, 3,974. The NASDAQ did close higher. It was down 1.3% early in the session yesterday, but we ended the day slightly higher. Individually, shares of Lordstown Motors in focus. Ride stock to the downside this morning. There's questions from the SEC regarding that short report that we talked about last week from Hindenburg. So they're under pressure. And Upstart, the AI company, UPST, is the ticker. Big move up aftermarket yesterday and again this morning following better than expected earnings. It's Thursday, March 18th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. There we go. Look at North American markets for you. Yeah, red numbers across the board here. You can see the NASDAQ, once again, as I mentioned, leading the way to the downside, 1.6% currently. TSX futures here in Toronto, 0.4% to the downside. Brazil's open higher at the moment, 0.4%. Little change for Bitcoin so far. Yeah, crude oil down a full percent this morning. We have gold back to the upside, 0.5%. For gold back in positive territory. Good morning, guys. It's Thursday. It is another interesting morning. We had positivity everywhere, it seemed, following that Fed decision yesterday afternoon. But we're all the way back. So the gains that we saw in the afternoon yesterday completely gone.
Yeah, Uncle Jerome giveth, market taketh away. I guess inflation concerns, the 10-year as well. And as much as we got an unbelievable bump, I mean, you saw the NASDAQ go 300 points to the upside, and then holding some of those gains overnight. The 10-year hits passes that 1.7 mark, 1.74. I think we were able to hit, and we're essentially, not essentially, we're right back to where we were pre-announcement numbers. So it's basically, I would say, more of the same. In terms of the reaction. It's going to pretend to an interesting day of trade here today, because I think he's sort of dialing back into what was working earlier on in the week and last week in terms of themes. And then there's certainly some earnings to get to. And it's going to be what I think is a bit of a wild day in the market. And you go back into that shopping mode, whereas, in the height of the euphoria, thinking, okay, you got all the dovish tone that you wanted. Yeah, it could have been buying some of the tech on strength instead of maybe looking at some weakness here. And some themes, was even staring CCL at $30 again at the same price. So it's an environment I think we're going to be primed to be able to handle here, Sean. It should be a fun day worth of trading. And there's an IPO which may or may not open during the show. We never get a chance to trade those live.
Yeah, TUYA, Tua. Software company there, Chinese name. So we can look at that. I didn't do too well on Coupang, so I don't know if I'll be looking at, one Korean, one Chinese. I know they're different spaces, but we'll see what happens. One backed by Tencent, which should be nice. That's today's Tua IPO. Look at Tesla yesterday off. We got some volume started kicking in there, obviously, at 2 o'clock. There's no doubt you can see where Fed started, and they came out with their little, rhetoric yesterday, and then Jerome Powell started speaking, and, not worried about inflation. He's going to protect everybody, blah, blah, blah. And then you can see, unemployment may be more of an issue than the inflation. From 671 goes Tesla. I just wanted to bring this up to you guys. Right up to 700, then we fail again. So Yeah, this 700 seems to be a little bit of a problem. It failed about, I mean, it got to 702, 703. That's a nice move for Tesla. I was trading Apple. We punched long, got instantly $1, $2 or so off this move on Apple. You saw 122.80 up to 125. Like, that's $3 basically in a straight line. I mean, you do come back down a little bit here during the discussion, and then bang, 230 just takes a rate off. We start speaking, and 125.78. And so right now we're coming into some Apple lows. Like Neil said, we're right back to where we were before this even all started. So watch out for another 122 break on Apple. And a lot of these NASDAQ names just continue to get pumped down. I mean, bang, down 1.58% right now on the NASDAQ. Crypto is going well, though. I mean, I mentioned Cardano. What was the last price you remembered at there, Brendan?
I think we were around 21 cents at one point.
21 cents, yeah. But even just the last couple of days, 118. And then today, guys, it's Cardano time again. 142, got as high as 148. So we've just been handing you guys cash. It's hard to buy these things. You got to be on different exchanges and stuff, and they are going to be getting listed on Coinbase. So that's coming soon. It's already on Coinbase Pro. Yep, but that's ADA, guys. Get it while it's hot. You might have missed it, but I think I'll be taking some off here at about $1.50. Apparently,
I've been under a rock because I missed a dollar move there, Sean. Initial jobless claims, guys, 45,000 expected to set, or up 45,000, 770,000 there from last week. It's Thursday, obviously. So initial jobless claims time. Let's get over to the desk to kick things off and say good morning to Miss B.
Good morning, Brandon, and hi, guys. Let's hope for a green market. Please enjoy the show, be active on the chat, and you already know, click the like button and subscribe to our channel. Let's get it started, Brandon.
Yeah, let's get it started, guys, with a look at how traders here at Day Trade the World fared yesterday. We haven't looked at this top 10 traders list for a couple of days. We've had a data issue on our internal site. But here we go. Yeah, top 10 traders from yesterday. Lots of markets here active in number one spot. Both the TSX main market and the Venture Exchange. Some futures action. Chicago, the CME, NASDAQ, New York, OTC, 57,000, number one. OTC, all on its own, 52,000 yesterday, number two. You can see more, this is CSE, Canadian Securities Exchange. OTC, pink sheets as well, 40,000. So really nice numbers, all the way down to number 8 there on the top 10 list from Day Trade the World yesterday. Let's jump into what is moving around, or what we need to be aware of more today, guys. Going to be an interesting session where we have, as we mentioned, the 10-year moving back to the upside. That has tech stocks under pressure. I mean, pick a name. It's down about 1% if it's on the NASDAQ today, including Apple, including AMD, including Micron. That was very, very strong over the past session, or the past couple of days, I should say. And also, I noticed Palantir, Sean, also back to the downside today.
Don't talk to me about Palantir. Let's just talk about Micron. No, yeah, look, Micron yesterday was a beauty. We will talk about Palantir. I'm just playing around. I cannot believe Micron, the run that it went on. This was another name, guys, and you weren't with us at 2 o'clock because we're not live at 2 o'clock. But I punched this thing long at 2 o'clock as well. And what a great trade that was, right to the upside. So I think if you're going to look for some names that have some strength, go to Micron. Micron's been just such a beast over the last little while. And this is, of course, where's my daily chart? Not working or what? No, not working. So, okay, that's, it started to load. Yeah, I got it now, Robbie. Yeah, Micron, a big beast. So we'll get the daily chart when it's loaded up. But yeah, Palantir, look. I don't know. We've been wrong about Palantir. I thought, it's not that I've been wrong about it. I don't think if you picked any tech name in the last 2 weeks or so, you're really just bouncing around a lot of different key levels. It hasn't really given us any kind of a run. I mean, here's 2 o'clock again, $24. I mean, you could have punched long here as well, straight up about $1.20, $1.30, but then, fades back into the close. We didn't like that. And then today you're back down another 2%, finally following the market a little bit. But let's see if the daily chart works for Palantir. But this is what I'm saying. What to expect. We did get some out when it came up here, not at the very high, in the mid-30s, but we're still long down here. My average price is 16. We keep talking about that. It's just hovering around here. Today I actually wrote down 24.25 to the downside. pretty nervous if we get a Palantir breakdown today. It's just, I don't know if this NASDAQ can hold it. Here's the 20 period, and this is what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can just zoom this back a little bit here. It's just like 24.50 is a problem, and then downside here, 24 and a quarter. This bottom right here, it held, then it kind of, it held a little bit here, and then held that last day. So I'm worried about this 24 and a quarter coming through. Everything on the upside keeps getting faded down. So I don't know. I'm not in love with Palantir as much as I am some other names. But I'll be looking at Micron today on any weakness just because it's been so strong. And then we'll see. But I think today, honestly, I hate to say it, but that's not a bear, but this is a grenade. But watch out below because I think today, there it is. Ooh, wow, that's pretty. That's some pretty nice animations there, boys.
That escalated quickly, Sean.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking bearish tones today.
Yeah, just to contrast that, not to contrast, but I guess in some ways it is. You see Micron and the relative strength. We talked about that in the space. NVIDIA, just to show you guys the other end of the coin here, I mean, it doesn't even look like anything happened yesterday for NVIDIA. You pull up the daily chart, it's just still sitting in this range. It was fine when you cracked that 500 and be able to buy those dips. But then you get yesterday's action, and you see at 2 o'clock, we bust 25, and it just completely stalls out at yesterday's high. It doesn't even quite get to yesterday. It doesn't even quite get to the previous day's high there in the 16th. And if you're going to pick something to come to the downside, you'll find a few names like this where they didn't get that big of a jump. We're essentially right back into this support from the morning of yesterday's action at a 520 on an NVIDIA. Yes. There are going to be some. There's going to be the government addressing some of the concerns and helping out when it comes to the shortage, the chip shortage, and I think the long term that'll be okay for all these names. But I think there could be a pullback in store today. You look at something like an NVIDIA through 520 if it breaks, and then you're probably getting down to that 500 mark again, and then a hold off until we get to that 475 area. So there's probably a few names like this in the tech area. It's interesting enough. I want to jump over if I can. I know this is going to be on our watch list, but. To give an idea of how euphoric it was yesterday, I mean, even Plug Power, which was getting beat up, finally got its second leg. We're sort of looking for that push to $40 in yesterday's action. Sorry, in yesterday's action on the morning show for you guys. And yes, there was some good long opportunities in the morning, especially into the open, but it was a pullback, a deep pullback into the afternoon, and then this thing got running. I do feel like. It could be a bit of a sell day today, and I'm watching this 37 level in particular on Plug to make sure that can actually hold. We didn't quite fill in that gap, but it did hit that $40 target, but it took Jerome to get us there.
Yeah, Plug, there's Ride, Lordstown. We also had Nikola as well with some negative news today, so all in that same kind of space. We'll talk about that. Luis Barbado joining us from Barcelona, Spain, again this morning to give us his opinion on the markets going into today. It's going to be an interesting session. Luis, Day Trade the World floor operator over in Spain. Good to see you. It's been a couple of weeks. How are things?
Yeah, things are pretty good here. We have a lot of movement in the small cap world, so we're pretty happy here. As you know, we're already 30 traders here, so slowly growing up and everyone is improving here. And we're still having a lot of nice days here in the small cap trading world.
Great stuff. Let's discuss what is moving around the past couple of days and this morning as well. Let's start off actually with the Fed, Luis. We had the announcement yesterday. It was, a highly anticipated event. Coming from the idea of focusing mainly on small caps, things that are doing lots of volume with lots of liquidity, how do you approach something like that?
Well, it is not that important as the blue chip on the main technical and other sectors is not so important. But of course, liquidity disappears like minutes or 1 hour before it's gonna come up the Fed. There is lower volume, and then suddenly volume comes in. But it's not so much important as in the blue chip, of course, that it's moved more from the macroeconomics. We have a lot of tickers moving 100, 200, 300%. So it is not really so important for them, the Fed decisions.
Yeah, the past couple of days, we've had a few of those smaller names, getting into that triple-digit percent kind of range once again. What have you been looking at the past couple of sessions?
Yeah, today first of all, as you know, we usually look what are we trading yesterday. I can share a screen here. So yesterday we were trading mainly OCG and IMTX. Okay, that was two of the ticker were trading more active, and YVR as well, and Black, of course, as you were talking about. So just today we're going to check these numbers. YVR is active yet, it's fighting for 410, so I think it's going to be a nice day on YVR. OCG, we have important levels in 1120, 1150. It just broke after a nice consolidation here. It's a second day runner, so of course we're going to check these two tickers very active today. OCG is again up. Yesterday was very strong, and today as well. So it's a second day runner. Don't forget, mid-December, I think it was 15, 16 of December, this stock was gapping up to $25. So it's an interesting stock. It still has room to go. And of course, TKAT as well. We're gonna have a look to this one. It's crazy. It's a really crazy stock, but we don't have shorts here. It's hard to borrow, so we will look for some consolidation in case it becomes parabolic again.
Yeah, I just saw it was 46 cents per share, something along those lines, to short that TKAT. 6 million share float on that. So yeah, anyone looking at TKAT, tread lightly. Going to be a crazy mover. YVR, I should say. Canadian content here, Vancouver company. We've had them on the show before. There's really no news or significant catalyst behind this move. I've seen it pop up over the past couple of sessions, as you mentioned, multi-day kind of move. You know, how much attention do you pay to the actual reason for the move? There was some increased online chatter around that YVR as well.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that it is a very important news. It's not that we are fundamental analysis. We don't look for so much deep in the news, but it is true there is no big news about it, but it still has volume and room to go. Today is gapping up and holding pretty strong in the tape reading. We have big bids holding and moving pretty sharp the movement. So we expect it. It's easy to borrow. It's also important to understand that it's easy to borrow. So you might get some sort of squeeze. Some traders are getting stuck in short positions here for midterm, you know. So if we push again today to 40-50%, these short positions are getting in trouble.
When we talk about the overall directional move in the market, there's a little more negative sentiment coming in again today with the 10-year rising. We have the the overall market to the downside heading towards the open here. It's interesting when you look at these small cap names that are doing these higher volume moves in the pre-market, mostly to the upside. Is there a tie here to the overall market, Luis? Do you pay much attention to market direction when you're looking at these?
Not usually if they have important news on it, not usually. But it is true that the market sentiment, as you said, is changing from very bullish to, let's say, to tricky points, key levels, as Sean and Neil were talking about the technical, some tech companies trading at important levels. Tesla fell 700 yesterday after a nice pullback from 550 to 700. It failed. There are a lot of companies in this key levels. So of course the market might change to the downside. It looks like it could, but in the small cap, that's why we trade the small cap world, because every day we have nice stocks that they don't really care what's going on in the real economy. Yeah, lots of news are so important that they don't really care.
Yeah, lots of volume, lots of liquidity, as we said, and direction doesn't seem to matter when it comes to the overall market. Luis Barbado, Day Trade the World floor operator over in Barcelona, Spain. Best of luck today. We appreciate your time as always.
Thank you very much, Brendan. See you.
There we go, guys. A little bit of a look at what Luis is looking at going towards the open this morning. Let's jump into what is moving around in the pre-market here, guys. We'll take out the watch list. If you haven't done so already, make sure you head over to the brand new home for the watch list. That link, all you have to do is register with a Gmail account, Facebook, any email whatsoever. It gives you access to our morning note. We send it out every morning before we come on at 8:30. It's absolutely free to you every single day. And I know there's been a few people talking about having access to prior days' morning notes. So we are working on a solution as well that will facilitate that. First one on the list this morning is Lordstown Motors. We discussed in length the Hindenburg report that came out at the end of last week. On the short side, they announced they have taken a short position in the company. They gave a whole bunch of reasons why. The SEC has now come out and said, okay, so is this real? And they've requested more information, guys, from the company.
Yeah. I just wanted to just engage the chat a little bit here, just quickly. And I just want to give a big shout out to Maru Chiru here and the King One The King 1-2. I don't know if that's LeBron or who this is here, but you are 100% right. I just want to talk about this. Like you talk about here, Palantir, then Palantir today. Like skip Palantir, and then Palantir is not for traders. I agree. So I just want to bring that up to your attention because, right now, you have to trade stocks that are moving, and that's why we go over this watch list. And I think that's why it's very, very important that Neil brings up something like Plug from yesterday and why we talk about Ride today, things like that. If you're not looking at names that really have catalysts behind them, that's why, Lewis, thank you very much for coming on the show. TKAT, OCG, things like that. Like stocks need to have some kind of catalyst, and that's why I'm looking at NASDAQ names, and that's why I've been looking at NASDAQ names for a while. We've missed out on some big bank. I mean, I own banks for the long haul. We missed out on some bank trades in the middle of the day as well, and then obviously oil moving is around. So you got to really focus, and I think it's worth it. Neil and I really don't trade too many oil stocks, but if you guys are specific to one sort of an industry, find catalysts there and then trade the names that move. And that's why Palantir, I mean, I was talking about it forever and ever and ever the last couple weeks. It was moving. It was a fantastic stock. It hasn't been that way lately, right? So with that being said, let's go over to Ride. There's no other hot stock right now other than Ride. I mean, just a couple weeks ago, you're talking about February 16th, let's give it 4 weeks, almost to the day, we topped out to all-time highs, $30, $31, $32. And then it was just basically the SPACs have been getting hit. A lot of the EV names, we've seen NIO, we've seen even names like Plug, Blink, like anything that's sort of in this space has really, really cooled off. And then you get Hindenburg coming out and trying to crush Ride as well. And I just saw the CEO over there on CNBC. So you got to watch out here for this 13 bottom right now on Ride. I mean, we're only at 14 right now. This is a daily chart. If we close that and then now look at what's happening right now, you're down 7+%. And then yesterday, we've already cracked down below this low, 1430. I believe this is a short until this 1430 comes through. So I'm going to be trying to, and by trying to, I think we have shorts. I already tested. Let me just try with 100 shares. Yeah, there it is. Yep. So we can take that. So there is going to be shares available for Ride. I'm not sure how many. I just tested 100. But I think a short into this 1430 until they prove everybody wrong. I think you can short this thing 1420, 1430, and then even just use even just some of these as your outs, man. Like 1460, give yourself 30, 40, 50 cents, something like that. Don't let it to retest highs. But I think that this is a solid name to retest for shorts. So I think you can hold the short here as long as the negative talk keeps happening. Let's look for shorts in Ride, and you may even get to break this very bottom here of 1390, guys.
Yeah, one thing that we've been looking at for some of these short seller reports, and look, they're actionable trades, that's why we're always going to talk about them, is you look at that day 2 action, like how does the stock respond after you get that crazy flush, and it's always going to be the case. You'll gap down, you'll fall all the way in the 12th to make a bottom at that 1360 Sean mentioned. Had it actually been able to hold up 1480, provide the response on the second day, you hold those second day lows, so that would have been like 15 even. We broke through that yesterday, so you don't hold that bottom, and then now it looks relatively weak, and that's sort of the key thing. And I think you can almost give it back to that same price area, maybe like a more of a 1475. So I'd be shorting into any strength into that 1475 area. It's about the pre-market high anyways, and then you had a lot of chop there in yesterday's price action. And whether it takes out the bottom, certainly who knows, but a lot of times we're willing to go the other direction. We talked about that with Plug Power yesterday, restating their financial results, where you wanted to pick that one up on the rubber band and thinking you were going to get a buyout opportunity, and there were two. There was both the buy in the morning, and then there was, of course, the Jerome Powell bounce. I'm not sure any of that's going to matter for Lordstown today. I'm going to be shorting this one up till the 1475 mark. If it's a break at the low of the day, I don't love this pre-market low break, because it's right into that low here at 1364. If it hits the all-time low, that's a different story. If it breaks that 65 back from the 12th, that's a break I like.
Got to go where the action is, and EV makers to the downside today seems to be where that's going to be. Let's have a look at upgrades and downgrades for this morning. The Starbucks, guys, has been on this list all week long. So here we are again, Starbucks. Now, Cohen thinks it's worth $120 with an upgrade today. Carnival, the reopen type idea, back in play once again today, up in the pre-market, worth noting, $42 here for UBS. Nothing terribly exciting. Clorox on the downgrade side. This Westlake Chemical Partners as well. Interesting, up 3.6% so far, guys.
The only coffee I need, Brendan, is whatever you brought, and I had my first cup of. This is not it, unfortunately, for me, but I can take a sip anyways. It's interesting because Look, and I want to talk about CCL here in Cincinnati Video Guru. It's like you knew. You obviously couldn't have known that was going to be. Maybe you did know it was going to be the next stock we talk about here. CCL, they caught the upgrade. You just saw it there live. We've been talking about this 30 level. I don't know. It feels like forever, but it actually hasn't been. It's only been a couple of tests here. We had a couple of tests, 15th, 16th, and each time it's a failed break, right? So if you're sitting around looking and putting in a 30 break as a day trader, it's not like, and this is the thing about a breakout, like you can get in and scalp like 5 or 10 cents each time and then take the rest for a hit, or just get in and out when it doesn't go and take a small hit, and you're taking these little pot shots at it. But if you get really, I suppose, the word is stubborn or married to the idea of the trade, then you get burned, because we're able to buy dips each time it's failed at 30, and there's been some decent dip buys on CCL in that regard. So if we test it today, great. I don't think I'm taking this one long 30 break unless it's long 30-20. So that's the number that I wrote down. I'm not breaking 30 even because it's just failed a couple of times. I'll give up the 20 cents to make sure that we're going through. If you're talking about that reopen play, I think being patient and waiting for some dip levels, and again, I was sort of looking at this. I look at previous close areas here, like that 28.93, but I look at 28.80, where there was a previous resistance in the morning, and then maybe some support down there. So that's my first look on the dip of CCL, and I'd take the 30-20 break, not the 30 even breakout. But at some point, CCL has to make a push through that level. I like those double tops when they finally go through, shake out some of the other hands there. Never got down to that 27 mark for like a swing buy entry, which I guess could be seen as a good sign.
So I finally just went short ride there, and we just called it. We talked about going short ride. It broke that bottom, should have had 90s, didn't really even look at it too much. I'm just taking a very, very small piece here. This is nothing big. We want it to come up to 14.30. I just thought maybe we could scalp this down in case it does retest that bottom, which is 13. Let's just wait to see it. It's pre-market, man. We still have 24 minutes left to go. I don't know what, I know Neil just talked about CCL. I don't know why CCL should go up. I love the stock. It's been a great day trader. I think I've made the most money on CCL. Definitely in 2020 was probably my number one stock there. And I don't have a problem hitting it with shares and making calls. But for me today, CCL is just not super interesting yet. It could get there, but we'll see. 1.5 million is nice. Okay, AMC on the watch. That's going to be a big name today. CCL as well. BAC. There's a lot of names here. We've been crushing Ford, and then AMC, which a lot of you are looking at right now. And still, look, AMC and CCL, the same amount of shares so far today. I think AMC's on our watch list, is it? Yeah, we're going to get to that soon. So we'll talk about AMC coming up. Starbucks was the other name there. Valeria is still sponsoring them. They've closed over a lot of stores here in Toronto, and I think across Canada, and then I think even in the US as well, which is making us all quite sad. But for a stockholder, hey, look, closed stores, if that's going to make this stock, act like this, then hell yeah, we'll ride this one. We're still long Starbucks, and it still continues to work. And I said yesterday that I'll continue to buy things that my wife can't stop spending money at. And then shout out to Downtown Josh Brown as well, loving this name. So we're just going to continue to watch Starbucks. I think on any sort of weakness here, this is the 1 day. I want the 1 minute. Where's my 1 minute chart? Here it is. Let's pull this back just a little bit. It's already pulled back apparently. Okay, I got to figure out these charts, guys. This little bottom here yesterday, 109. So just watch out. We're right there right now. Again, with this spread, it probably breaks 109 early, but you have this bottom. And if the market can keep going and get going, I think Starbucks easily goes here. So you have to watch out. And this is not a home run stock. I kind of mean this is kind of like the way Palantir trades a little bit. You may have to scalp in and out 40, 50 cents. But if you can break this level right here, 110, bounce, drop, hit it, drop. If we can hit 110 again on any good news, I like Starbucks through, but don't take it in the first 5 minutes or the first minute. Let it settle down a little bit, and we'll look at Starbucks picking up bottoms.
All right, another group that, Sean, you like. A lot of people in the chat right now talking about this one. Woof, WOOF, which is Petco. They reported this morning better than expected earnings. So nice look here. Just took out 25 there on a decent volume spike. We're up 8%, guys, on Woof.
Yeah, look, pets. I mean, I've been loving Petco and Woof and everything. I haven't gotten any money into this one. I'm still waiting for BarkBox to go. I was a huge player in Chewy at its IPO, and that's paid me off 5 to 8x, I think it was, from 30 up to about 115 or so on Chewy. So let's call that whatever I said, Forex. Okay, so Woof, a big report, a nice move. But the thing about Woof is it's finally getting back some mojo. I mean, it didn't go to 95, guys. But, right up here, 27, 28. We just got to clear these levels. And, I mean, maybe I'll look better on a different chart. I'll find a better chart for you. But $28 right here. That could get tested today. If it does, I think look out below. It's probably made a bottom. I think we can, say that at about 22.50 here. Some nice consolidation. I'm going to find this on a better chart, guys. And we'll see if this looks any different.
Yeah, I mean, I think you throw up like the 60 here for that name, and I think what Sean was pointing at makes a ton of sense to me. And we literally had just talked about double tops when we're discussing like CCL there, and you get like this 27.70 area. You get that 28, which is going to stand out a little bit. And of course, we're having to go back a little bit further into the beginning of the year to get those levels. So there's a really, really good chance, because you're extending a little bit further into that range, that could be a bit of a fade if it were to get there. And then you have to really like any sort of dip about $1 from here, because this sort of stands out, that 24.30 area. It's 160,000 pre-market volume, so that's one of those no-fly zones for pre-market trades. But that also does mean that off the open, when volume comes in, you can see some prices that can be to your advantage. So you look at something like that 24.30, and it's not entirely impossible that you get there, in that first 5 or 10 minutes in that opening range.
TKAT, new highs already 3.5 million shares on TKAT. Remember, super small float on that one, so trade carefully. Let's bring in Arun here and have a look at the futures. We'll get an understanding of what we need to be aware of as far as levels are concerned in the overall market, Arun. So big move up after the Fed yesterday. We're all the way back down again.
Yeah, there's a big setup here, which is go back to Tuesday, and the resistance level was 60 to 70. We fell off. Yesterday, Fed comes out, we take off. We did for a short time come off that mid 60, low 60 to 55 to 60-ish area, came off into the 40s, and we took out the high. Now that would assume or make it seem like that's resistance level is gone. But now they just expanded a little bit higher, then came off again lower than that bounce that we initially had during that Fed move. So what this now sets up is the range that was at the 70 as resistance has now moved up a little bit to 80. And that huge area from 60 to 80 is now holding a lot of selling. And this is starting to make me think that 4,000 is only 20 points away. We are getting that much, there's that much volume, more volume coming in front of that 4,000, the closer and closer we get, which kind of makes sense. But at the same time, the levels are starting to move up. Every time we go, we're finding more selling. So now if we go back into that 50, I'm going to start looking at the sell side. I think at this point, you do, after 2 days of finding resistance and moving that up a little bit, you do have to start playing on the sell side. To the downside, I have no target. So I'm just looking for a bounce, maybe into the 50s. Then I'll start working some sells with 80 as a stop. And of course, if 80 goes, given how it's been trading, I think you have to wait to see what the reaction is after 80 goes. Is it going to be some more selling after the 80s and the stops are gone? Or is it going to be actually holding well and take a look at that 4,000? So just be aware, 60 to 80 is going to be where the major resistance is going to be, but once it gets into the 50s, I'm going to start looking at some sells.
Amazing. We're talking about 4,000 on the S&P, Arun. Thanks so much once again. Great stuff. We'll check in again tomorrow morning before we get to the open here. We're under 30 minutes away, guys, before the market is open. Let's get back to the morning note and the watch list. Upstart Holdings Incorporated. Huge move, to say the least, in the aftermarket yesterday following a surprise profit in their first report since going public back in December. UPST up here as well, guys, but starting to fade off a bit.
Well, it's not fading that much. Actually holding up rather well. Oh God, that pun's going to be all over the show today if we trade Upstart. And I think we always look at some of these post-market levels. You get a gap up. Now keep in mind, Upstart's not always going to be the most liquid of names. The first report is definitely a key one because you're going to get rather punished when you have a bit of an upswing. And let's let's have a quick look here, guys, because the stock had already sort of shown some cracks and weakness, and this is true of any IPO. I could be pulling up a chart of Lemonade, I could be pulling up a chart of C3AI, and they would all show you the same thing, right? You made those highs back about like a month or so ago, and then we're all pulling back into some support levels. So this would have been a key report for them. Obviously, you're going to break through. You're going to break out through like $70 here in the 50 period moving average. But the question is, can you hold up? I'd be all over rubber band effect here under normal circumstances, and I was looking at that in particular for like a Williams-Sonoma. But Upstart, I mean, all of a sudden, when I was thinking, okay, well, it's probably going to be interesting if it can break like an 85 at the open, and then I actually saw that happen. I'm talking about that the top end of the post-market action. It makes that break and then holds up, and then goes right back to this price, and then now just wants to sit here now. Well, this is light volume, and there is a bit of an offer sitting at 85, taking shares, and it's maybe taking more shares than the displayed 1,000 shares that are on the offer. But the fact that it's holding up and didn't roll over through 85, I think is a bit of a sign of strength. All that said, market hasn't opened, 200,000 shares in the pre-market. I'd be much more comfortable playing a pullback on a name that had done more volume here than on an Upstart. And as far as the breakouts go, I would wait for like 10 o'clock or maybe like that 9:45 for a stock like this when volume and liquidity should be a heck of a lot better. I've had experiences with Lemonade a couple times as a day trading stock, which is similar liquidity, and you tend to want to wait until volume comes in. You can read some of these pre-market iceberg orders if you can, and then use those levels later. They just don't tend to be good trades right at like 9:30 or like 9:25 right before the open.
You mentioned C3AI there. Yeah, I mean, look at this chart, guys. This is one that I'm starting to maybe now get interested in. Yeah, so they opened up at 94, ripped all the way to 180, 190, and now they're just ticking lower every single day, like 78, 79. Like, where is this name going to stop? Let's wait to see. I'm I'm interested in this name now. If we can get back above 94, 95 here, this could be a big name. So AI, I'm just glad that Neil brought, it's not doing anything, but I'm glad that we're looking at this because this is a name that I'm going to now look at my portfolio and think about it. Just like I've been buying some QuantumScape here. You guys know we're still long, I think it's 50.25, something like that, and it dipped down too on that chaos down to $40 and now back to 60. I love QuantumScape. You guys see Volkswagen lately? That stock has been going ham. WVGAY. I'll find it. It's on the pink sheets anyways. It's a crazy name. But I do like QuantumScape as well. So there's plenty of names. Let's just keep on going because the next name on our list, everyone's talking about it, Brendo.
Yeah, let's get into AMC. Sean, you mentioned it earlier. Now 4.5% in the pre-market. They came out this morning and said they're going to have, quote unquote, most of their theaters open again by March 26th, so the end of the month. Going to be able to go watch a movie again at AMC, guys.
Yeah, who cares about that? But the stock right now, no, I'm just playing around. I'm jealous. We're jealous because, well, I'm jealous anyways, because here in Canada, we can't even sit in a McDonald's right now. You can't even sit in a Starbucks. You can't even sit in a Tim Hortons. Shout out to Tim Hortons as well. What's up, Canada? Oakville represent right now. But okay, the point about it is that we're jealous about AMC, but it is a nice reopen story. And I've been saying that ever since we were down here. I remember talking with Mark Roberts when we were about here, $7, $8, $9, things like that. And I said, this is a buy because I believe the fair value is somewhere around 6 or 7. Yeah, what's up, guys? I see you all in the chat there. What's up to Canada? Everybody loving Canada. Hey, where's our Canadian thing here before we go? We still have a lot of time, right? We can put this up there. Yeah, you can't sit. Yeah, these poor Canadians need to stand up and eat. Yeah, I know, it's such a shame. We can't even do that. You could do pickup. You can go in, put your mask on, and get the hell out of there. Yeah, Uber crushing it right now, Uber Eats, because everybody ordering in, of course. Okay, 1475. I just want to call up a daily chart, and then we'll do on a minute chart here. The daily chart looks like this. 1475 looks like a great break. We'll take that if it does break there. It has momentum. Remember, say, what's up? Hit this cash register. You guys know what that's for. There's those stimmy checks going out. So the cash register ringing for a lot of you guys right now. And I just think that AMC, because it's a reopen story, because we've seen it moon before, because there's still talk about it, there is a very, very good chance that this stock does something again today. So you see yesterday, yesterday was kind of uneventful. You tipped out at 1365, and then you just basically I don't know, someone said barcoded before, consolidated down here, blah, 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 blah. Nothing really happened until, for some reason, at the close, there was a big buy imbalance and it just started running up. Went up to Trader Pratt over there, brought it to our attention that there was this big buy imbalance, and then it ripped up to 14 in the aftermarket, and right now you're hovering around. So I'm going to pay for some shorts because I think there's going to be opportunities to short this stock today.
Free.
Oh, it's free?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we don't even have to pay for shorts today. I paid for it just 2 days ago.
Yep.
Okay, good. So free shorts. Don't know what that means right now, but easy to short it. So let's watch out to see if this thing does take off here today. If you are looking for some kind of a bottom and where to break it, maybe 1390. I kind of look more at the highs from yesterday where we sort of struggled through 1370, maybe as a better short. But I like the long today. Let's just see if those stimulus checks get pumped into AMC.
We also know, of course, it's Friday, guys. Third Friday coming through. I'd be surprised if we didn't test that 15 area on AMC. And I can tell you there was a seller. Hopefully they were, I don't know, I'm not sure the story. They could have been taking profit at 13.50 in the afternoon right in front of that close. And that was an unbelievable buy. I closed at 56, but I got to believe if it ever retests 13.50, and we talk about dip buys all the time as a way to make some solid day trades. If you have a bias on the stock, I like to have some prices I like to defend if it goes the other way. So I'm just going to throw out that 13.50 just because I saw a lot of action there at the close. 14.25 break. I know there's that 14.75, but again, if we get there, this is the kind of stock where you can definitely trade it in those quarters. So we have the ability to do that. I'm going to take it through the quarter break. I'm going to trade through that 14.50, and then I think we have a decent shot of getting to that 15. I'd be looking to buy the dip as well. I think it's because it's also a recovery play. This is not the same thing as GameStop, and that's what we keep trying to say to everybody. This is not exactly the same story. It's not as if you'll have severe drop-offs. Like when GameStop completely collapses and falls apart, I understand that, yes, AMC will do the same thing too. But when GameStop, for the most part, is doing nothing and most of those meme stocks are settled down, remember that you are trading in a reopen play, and that's part of the theme here. And ultimately, it still has a ways to go in terms of upside. I'd like to see us test that 15 area today.
All right, we're going to go on to the IPO today, guys. Penn National on the list, but very low volume in the pre-market, to say the least. They got a license for the Virginia lottery, so they can operate their app now on iOS and Android in Virginia. That was the news on Penn National Gaming, TUYA Incorporated, a Chinese SO or SAS, I should say, company, software as a service company, IPOing today on the NYSE. Make sure you head over to the main Twitter account, the Trader TV Live Twitter account. There's a poll about this today, about this IPO. So go check that out. Make sure you vote whether or not we'll actually look at, or whether or not you're planning on looking at TUYA. So interesting, guys. It's just over $1 billion in value. So they sold ADSs aftermarket yesterday in the tune of $43.5 million at $21. So that's up from an initial estimate between $17 and $20 for TUYA.
And this is the thing. So it'll be like the second biggest, new issue this year. Of course, Roblox was pretty big, and we're gonna have this. We're gonna have this one up for you guys. There's no guarantee that we're going to be able to trade. I think that's sort of like the downside. I want to show you what we'll be able to do for you guys here is to the extent that we're able to, we can look at both NASDAQ and New York stocks to get indicative prices, right? So what'll end up happening, this is going to be clouded by most of the opening stocks here. So you'll see AMD's buy imbalance on our imbalance locator as the number one at the top. But once the market is open, the only thing that's going to be making changes are stocks that have halted, and then, of course, recent IPOs. And then it's just about getting an idea of what the indicative price is. That's fine. We can have that. You have that 21. The issue price doesn't tend to matter too much. To me, is always a price you're not willing to play in terms of an opening trade. So if I see something like indicative price over like 45 and it's like a double up or 40, I tend to stay away from those. When it's a little bit more reasonable, there's some momentum to be had. It seems to me, and look at your thoughts on this, Sean, because we were talking about this with maybe Roblox and some of the direct listings, but it seems to me like the IPOs have a better shot of having that big size bid hanging around there at the open that you can play off of as a day trader, where sometimes that's not the case, and it wasn't necessarily the case with Roblox. There were good long opportunities, but it just sort of floodgates opened up because there was no bid, and I think that's a bit of a function of the difference between the direct listing and the IPO. So this should be interesting if I see some big size there. I mean, maybe it opens up at like a 32, and then there's a big bid at like 31 or so. That's one of those go for it, take the long trade. But if it gets too far in terms of the indicative open, then I wouldn't want that opening print for me.
Right. I mean, I'd take the open. I mean, I haven't done well on Coupang or the the Roblox IPO was fine. It did. I mean, here's the chart. This is why I bring that up to you guys. And thanks for Neil for bringing it up. I mean, Roblox is one of the more popular IPOs. Why am I talking so fast? One of the more popular IPOs that have hit lately was Roblox, and then Coupang was well played as well. But this is that drop that you get. It went way down to 60, and some people get liquidated, and if you just, if you hold on to that trade just a couple more minutes, then it works out great for you, because we go from opening at 65 or 64.50, I believe the exact open was, ripped up to 71, 72, and even got as high as 75, 72, but you did have that dump. And then since then, all we've really done has retested. We've never retested the open, but we retested some 70s there on Roblox. So you know what? I do like it. You saw, I showed you the C3 AI chart, and now you're seeing the Roblox chart. And Neil's talked about that other one. We talked about Woof. I mean, there are a whole bunch of IPOs coming out with earnings, and I just think it's well worth playing IPOs. But yeah, wait for some support size. And I know, Neil, you made some money, like, you got into Roblox and then started punching some levels long when you seen it hold certain things. So I think there's a lot of opportunities to get long if you do miss that opening print. It doesn't seem like I remember when Snowflake came out, it IPO'd at, I think it was like 170, and then all of a sudden it was 180, then it was 190, then it was 230, and then it halted. We haven't really seen that excitement behind a lot of these technology-based IPOs recently. You've seen the NASDAQ. It's not the right environment right now, in my opinion, to be hammering these IPOs. I tried with Roblox, I tried with Coupang, didn't work out. I will try with Tua, probably not the opening print, but we'll definitely have a look at it and we'll see what happens. But definitely worth a look there today. TUYA, and it's a New York stock. And right now, I don't know, Neil was looking for it.
I didn't even see it.
Yeah, it's not on here. Whatever the hell this is, this warrant or whatever, AAQ. This may be the next SPAC. We'll see. Oh no, it's a sell, so it's probably not a SPAC. Nokia, CCL, and whatnot. This is the opening imbalance locator. And there's Palantir. A lot of people want me to talk about Palantir. I see that on the chat. I've already talked about it a little bit. I'm looking for a short through 24.25, especially if the NASDAQ gives up the ghost today, man. I'm not in love with Palantir, guys.
Right the first time, Sean. Accelerate Acquisition Corporation is
boom,
is AAQC. So it looked like a unit or something with balance there. Nikola Corporation, the other EV maker, in trouble, or continues to be in trouble. Their South Korean partner Hanwha Corporation saying they're going to sell up to half of their 5.5% stake in the company, which equates to about 11 million shares, 11 million and change shares, worth about 180 million, guys. So the negative news for Nikola continues.
Yeah, this is not the Lordstown chart, but I mean, the clearer trends, I guess you really can't find them. The interesting thing about Nikola is you almost want to say, when you see something like this and it looks like one of those like penny stocks, which is eventually going to try to do like another shallow parabolic move, which you'd think would be the next thing that would happen. I mean, if we're not going to take out this 1340 all-time low, and we just keep sort of bouncing off of it, you got to figure at some point it's going to make a little bit of a rebound play. I tend to I actually prefer Lordstown for the short. For today's action, if only because you take out this 1575. We've had some trouble making fresh lows, and Nikola, it's just basing out at the bottom at this point. So maybe if you break at 15 even, maybe I shouldn't say maybe, definitely if it overextends itself to the upside, I'd be playing off of these recent highs at like 17. I just don't think that's going to be today. I'm not anticipating there's going to be a bounce in Nikola, and I do prefer to play Lordstown if it's going to be a short side trade. Does it set up Nikola here for like 1575? Sure, it looks okay because you do have some room into like both these levels here at 1560 for a scalp and then down to like that 1525 and 15 even. But you got to go and look at 250,000 pre-market volume. It doesn't have a ton of action around it. You look, at 1.4 million shares have already traded hands in Lordstown, so there's almost no question that's going to be the sexier day trade name over here, guys. So I think that's what it's going to be all about for me today. I'll be looking to sell into any strength on Nikola if it does extend itself a little bit too far, because that's a pretty ugly chart.
Yeah, this 15, I mean, again, just to call back the 20 period, this 1540, 1550 area here could be in trouble today. And yeah, I feel, people saying that, calling me out for some of the great longer term investments that I've made. I am in Nikola, and I'm going to find out the price for you guys. I think it's in the 20s, my average price, and it might be like 24, 25. It's not great. I got excited about Nikola early, especially when they had some news with GM and Ford, and just GM, not Ford. But I've switched my liking. Obviously, you guys know that I piled into Ford and piled into GM. Ford at the $6-7 mark, and GM just recently at 52. I prefer to get your money into these names, Ford and GM. I just think that they're obviously a little more stable. They have names behind them rather than just flashy ideas. The Ford is going to turn the F-150 upside down. Brendan knows all about that as well. I mean, a lot of people excited about getting electrified by some of these Ford. I mean, the Mustang, talk about iconic brands. The Nikola has the Badger, and Ford has the Mustang. So, the Badger perhaps not even existing, but the Mustang we know sells a hell of a lot, and so does the F-150. The most sold vehicle, I believe, worldwide, just by vehicle, I think it may be, is the Ford F-150. I know it's the #1 selling truck, but it may just be vehicle-wise because of construction and things like that. But I could be wrong. There could be other names.
The only Badger that matters is the character in Breaking Bad, Legend.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, if you guys know about Breaking Bad, then let's give a thumbs. Oops, this is not thumbs up. This is 2 thumbs. There we go. Hey, what's up? Was it Heisenberg there? Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, let's stop talking about this nonsense. I like Ford going through the top here. They made a top yesterday, 1270. If Ford can go, just because we're talking about Nikola, I prefer Ford. So even as a day trade man, 1 million shares, let's get some money into Ford today.
All right, more to cover here, guys. Let's continue along. I want to show you Lyft real quick. Lyft said they recorded a record ride-sharing volume for 2021 last week, and that was the first time since this time last year, March of 2020, they were at those levels, which obviously makes sense. So a little pop in Lyft there if you're watching Lyft today, heads up. Peloton, a little bit of news on Peloton. The CEO was on CNBC. They said they've increased production capacity by 700%. They also said they're teaming up with Adidas for an apparel line, guys, for Peloton.
I'm going to rain this money down because you just mentioned Adidas. Has absolutely nothing to do with Peloton, what I'm about to say. But a shout out to my boy Kanye. Man, Mr. Yeezy, do you have any idea how much he's worth, Neil?
At this time, I have absolutely no clue.
Guess.
Not gonna lie.
Guess.
I don't know. 10?
10 what?
Not million, dude.
Billion? You think he's worth $10 billion? Nah, he's not worth $10 billion. He's worth $6.6 billion, which apparently is like a record for any artist.
Well, if you're going to ask, I'm going to say an extreme number because I think you know how it goes, right?
Yeah, it's $6 billion, $6.6 billion as of yesterday. So the reason why I bring that up is because a lot of his money obviously made off those Yeezy shoes there with Adidas. So Adidas has obviously a monster presence in the world. We know that. They're selling just as much. I think they probably sell more apparel. I'll have to check that. I don't think more than Nike, but they could be the second. Their Adidas has just taken off. So what that means for Peloton, not sure. But if you see Kanye riding around on a Peloton, then I'm buying Peloton. But right now, he has some other problems to deal with, if you guys know about that. But money ain't one of them. 107 right now could be a nice little breaking spot for Peloton. You have some downside moves of 103, 103.50, things like that. But we'll wait to see here on Peloton. And I think you do have a nice little bottom here of 104, 105. So you can play off that. I'm going to wait. The spread's going to open up huge, but I want to have Peloton on my radar. I wrote it down. It's listed here. I don't have any price levels just to watch it because I'm not really sure what this news brings to Peloton. It's down that 2%. I thought it would have been up. So the fact that it's down on this kind of a collab, there we go. How about that? A nice little collabo here. I'm not sure what this means. So I'm going to ease off on Peloton, but I do think as a day trader, it has to be on our radar.
Yeah, I want to quickly, if I can, just skip to one of the last names on the watch list here, guys. And if you're not following along, you definitely should be. We got Upstart down here, but if we can maybe skip down a little bit. We talked about Plug, we talked about day one, day two, and then this is day two action for Plug. And I think it doesn't have to have actionable news to make a watch list. Sometimes it's just a continuation play. So, obviously Plug Power restating their financial results. You get the gap down. There was all kinds of strength for some good long positions yesterday, including one on the Powell bounce. But showing some cracks or some kinks in the armor in the pre-market here, testing 37.50 as we speak at the pre-market low. Now, I don't usually like these pre-market breakdown trades, but I'll make an exception here. In the case of Plug does break 37.50, I wanted to play this one through that downside. And AMC just bounced off 14.25, so I didn't get into that one because it hasn't actually broken through that high. I tend to round up. 23 was the previous pre-market high. I'm not taking a pre-market break at 23. It's a fantastic number. Shout out to the GOAT, but I'm waiting for 25 on AMC, but Plug could break any second now.
All right, guys, there it is. It is awaiting your help. We are getting ever so close to 200,000 subscribers. Make sure you take a second if you are joining us for the first time and subscribe. We do this every single morning that the market is open. We get to enjoy that, but only, according to our producer, when we get to 200,000 subscribers. So help us out. Hit subscribe, also like, but hit subscribe most importantly. And let's get us to 200,000 subscribers and we'll enjoy that. Wanted to talk about Laser, Luminar, guys. A little bit of news on Luminar. They're teaming up with China's SAIC on a self-driving car. So this is the first one that is going to use this technology for production vehicle. So Laser up here 12% in the pre-market, $30.50 seems to be a bit of a level so far.
Laser.
Yeah, I just want before I go, I found a comment here I want to shout out. I want to shout out to Jeff Green right now. Very funny, man. I mean, this is why I just, you see me sometimes focusing on the chat when things are a little bit slow like they are now, even though I need to get my trades ready. Yeah. He's only going to be worth $3.3 billion. That's great. So a great little shout out there to Kim and Kanye there. Line up because I think it's what, Kim's third or fourth divorce there going through. But I don't know if I can blame her this time for that. But get ready for Kanye to be worth $3.3 billion. I don't think so. They probably have what one calls a prenup because both of them cashing. But now they have 2 kids, I believe, or something like that. All right, I'm distracted, Neil. Take whatever that symbol was. I believe it was Laser.
Yeah, of course, Luminar up on that news. Now, there are some interesting pre-market levels. For this stock to have done 1 million shares pre-market, that actually matters. So immediately got to watch out for this 31. You're always going to get some kind of a pullback when you get 10, 15% moves in I hate to say legitimate stock, but I guess that's probably what I'm going to end up going with here. So I always look to first support. We have 30-30 down here. I'm not playing the rubber band play here, or I guess the pullback play. I want to be bullish on this name today, so I'd much prefer to look for a break, or and this is almost better sometimes if you get a fail break at the open at a 31, and then you're able to hold this level on a pullback like this 30-30, that 30-40 area. That's another good way to get into the long trade here because sometimes you're shaking out both weak hands from the pre-market or holding from overnight, or just holding for weeks. Trying to take that profit, and then if you hold for support, I mean, it's basically going to give you 50 to 70 pennies for a scalp trade, and then you can still take out that 31 to 31.30 area, and then head towards some fresh highs, guys. So if I had more of a bearish look, I'd be basically playing the reverse off of these levels. But Luminar, just to quickly show you guys, and the reason why I'd play the bullish side, it's already made that double bottom bounce right through holding the 50 period right here. It's just one of those situations where if it can hold above today's price action, it's got another $10 to go to get back towards some of those recent highs that you've seen. And then it's sort of obvious to just look at that last little top that we had, like a 29.75, 29.80 on the daily chart here. And that can be your cover to any downside play, long side play.
Okay, are we going back to Brendan? If not, I just want to talk about this quickly. AMC right now, guys. I like a 1450 break as that's been the high of the day rate, or not of the day. We're at the high of the day right now. This 1450, the last couple days right there, 1450 coming into play. So watch out for AMC right there. This 1450 goes back to the 15th. high, and then in the pre-market on the 16th. So 1450 coming into play here. Cannot believe AMC running, but hey, look, if they want to get their money in here, let's trade AMC. I mean, a fool not to, just like GameStop, if it's moving. Again, we're day traders, right? We're not putting out Someone said, oh, shout out to Lewis there because he mentioned Lizzie at $9. Remember, the way we trade, and Lewis, I can say this because he's part of Day Trade the World, whether or not he recommended it as a longer term hold. Remember, we're getting flat at the end of every single day here, so most of our trades won't last too long. The most they can last is the 6.5 hours of market open. So I do like Ford breaking through 1270. We'll buy some Ford back on the downside there. I also like rocket companies to go through 25 if it can get going. I have the order waiting there, so I'm not going to push it. I'm just going to wait to see. I don't want to average into a long or anything like that. If it breaks and fails, then I'll average in. But I like that trade to start. And I don't know, is there any trades you're looking at right away here, Neil, to start?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned AMC. I like that 1425 break, obviously, and I actually had to get into it manually because my stop order didn't trigger. I used the wrong one. I'll be candid about that. And one of them actually doesn't fill until the market opens, so I had to manually get into this trade. Immediately pulls back the second I start offering in front of that 1440 range. So I still think we have a chance to go here. Plug just broke that 37.50, so I just got short. So I'm short in Plug Power at 37.46. Just got the long here in AMC, which is again trying to bounce off that 14.25. I want to play this into the 50s, play the 50s into the 75s, and you kind of know how we go about those. We have very little time before we get into that open, guys. There is this BHTG, and this is way down on our list, and it's like I should be short this one already. I was watching it at like a 60, did not get the rollover. Got to drop the clock
I'm
here.
in 40 here,
but if we do get a bounce, if BHTG bounces at the open, I'm looking to play into that 75 area for a fade trade. Miss V is on the bell. It's Thursday. There we go.
Thank you, Ms. V. You might hear me say, damn it, I'm into Ford. I don't like to get into these things too early because especially off of a pre-market break. So we'll wait. We are into Ford here. I wanted to play. That was one of the only two plays that we talked about holding here into the open. So it hasn't opened yet, but we're going to watch out for Ford here, trying to make some moves. We're already long 72. Decent amount of shares, not the big amount that we did want, though. If it does break through 80, I think we could take some more. But it has to open first.
Yeah, and no pop on that BHTG I should say. But Plug making a bit of a bounce on me here. Now, if we break down below like 14 on AMC, I'm looking for the dip buy. I'll get out of my trade and look for a new one. Plug taking the top off right here. So no average in for me. Gonna hold on to this one. We're giving it to like this little peak here at 38.16. The only way I want to take more shares in a situation like this is if we actually retest the previous level top, and then I can actually get some on a decent rollover. Otherwise, we're just gonna have to sit pretty with this name. Gotta go over to Nikola, which was the other name, and if you took the bottom break in Nikola, it actually has already gone in the money for you. Remember, 1560. If you go to the higher time frame quickly here, guys. On my 15-minute chart, you do have to look at both these previous bottoms, 1560 and also that 1535 if you're watching Nikola. AMC, why are we not at 50 yet? Okay, whatever, I'll just take some out at 40. Looks like we're having some trouble getting to 50, so if I can scalp off like 14 cents and that's what it wants to give me, we'll go ahead and do that. But gates of hell for you, Plug. That one's headed back towards 37.75 here.
Yeah, put that in the gates of hell, man. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going, guys. Okay,
Nikola.
so we have AMC now breaking through 50. So we take the long now. We'll wait to see if it does anything on the downside. Ford, man, hell yeah, we did it again, guys. Let's just go cowbell. Let's go chicken dinner winners. Let's go everything. We talked about that. My one and only trade there. Ford to the upside. Bang, bang. We take more aggression and we take it out. Now ripping on Ford. Now good trade here. If we can get to 80, 89, I think that'll be a good little out for us. But the amount of shares we have, we should start taking some out right now. AMC does fade back down, so we got to find out what to do with this. We are long here at 1450. Again, wow. We've seen this happen. I talked about that yesterday and it fading right back in. So a very slippery slope here for AMC.
Yeah, I mean, I just picked some up on that dip. I mean, I got the first dip down at 1425 a second time, got some out at 40s, got some out at 47, played it into the 50s like we said, and now we're retesting this 1410 level. Now I'll give it to 14 even here now that we banked a little bit of profit. But it's interesting. The second this started going against me, Plug Power went the other way. So if we can't hold 14, I'm exiting this trade, in and out on breakout trades. I'll buy dips and then look for something a little stronger down around this like 1380 area or maybe even that 1350. Now 1350 sounds like a sore thumb. We're watching this at the close. 1350 had some sell action off it, and when it broke, you saw what happened in the aftermarket.
Yeah, exactly. So we went long here, and it worked out good. We're averaging in, so I don't know if it worked out good or not, but we're averaging in here. Let's get a little bit out if we can on AMC as it continues to go to the high side here for me, but it has already been hit to the downside. So we have a nice little average price as we just continue to get out of it. We're long at 14.20 now. We just got out. We took some more at 14.09, trying to hold that 14, but now we're okay. Let's see if this wants to run to the high side right now. That is AMC. We've got it, so let's just hold it.
Yeah, and speaking of plug, it does dip down to 37. I'm able to get 10s out there. Now I'm going to reload into this trade just now off of this pre-market level here at 37.70. Still playing off 38.20 or so. Brendo, what's up, buddy?
Right, here goes Upstart, guys. We talked about these pre-market levels and also from aftermarket yesterday. 88, 88.5 just got taken out there on volume. Now 48% for Upstart, guys.
Okay, man, I mean, ring the register on this. We're finally making some money on Ford and back on AMC. As AMC going back to the high side, you can see where we are long. Now we're long at 16, but here it comes just rifling right back down. Like diamond hands, not really here, man. Let's just try to get out as much as we can on this as now it rips to the high side. I think now we have about half of our original position, so we're about flat on the trade now. So if this can work to the upside, we'll start cashing in now on that play. Another quick update on Ford. Out, long 72, long 76. Out at the top here, just hits 84 again a couple seconds ago, so that was a good out for us. Let's see if Ford can hold, but watch out for the market coming back down. I don't need to be long everything here. We only have short ride waiting for that to do something, and right now it's not doing anything. So ride, AMC, and Ford for me right now.
Yeah, and speaking of a ride, of course, went over to plug. You saw that one, guys. Was able to get some profit, reloaded, got some short in front of that 38.20. It immediately broke out. If it wants to retest like 38.80, I'll probably take a look at it over there. But I just want to go back over to Nicola if I can for a quick second here. Whoops. There we go. There's Nicola. This was the actual flush. It does stall out basically where we expected it to, but that was a much better play. I wanted to pick one, pick the wrong one here, but both of them showing all kinds of weakness. If we do get a bit of a pop, we'll have to beat up on Nicola today, looking for that 1570-ish, I should say, retracement play. I want to go over to NEOS. This is a high volume small cap. Didn't make the watch list, but starting to pick up some legs. Now, I like to see at 930 if some of these pick up volume that have already sold off heavily. This falls in that case. 160 is a big level for the stock. If it does roll over at that price, I jump to the short. But watch out for a 160 break. This is gapped and was up 100% at one point in the pre-market, or very, very close to it. So it's shown it can run. Volume coming to the buy side here, but keep in mind how quick people were to dump this the second they had the chance to at 6 and 7 o'clock. So overall, I'd play shorts off high of day if I can.
Okay, just making sure that we have enough orders out for Ford. It looks like we do, as Ford now going back to 84. Yes, sir. Spin it. Let's go. Okay, so Ford's back up to 1484. Look, we love this name here. We don't have enough shares at 72, but we did make sure to take the default that we wanted here at 76. So in and out there of Ford, nicely done for me on that one, I think. Anyways, let's just wait to see if we can capture more profit on that Ford trade. Okay, we did take a little spot here on Ride. We averaged into this short. I told you that we probably would do this once it opened up and we could see some key levels. So, I mean, I like this 1405 level here just to play it off of it. Let's see if Ride wants to continue to move down here. It really hasn't done anything since the open, but we have an average price now of 82. So it's literally right here. You can see it on the board. I hope you're enjoying that one. And here goes AMC. Nothing wrong. I'm going to take a little bit more off here. I said I would try to hold this. If it could break 30, we'll take some 31s. There it is, 31s out. Bang! Yes, hot dogs for everybody on AMC. Let's just continue this to the high side. As Ford, hello Ford, back to 85. AMC 20 cents in the money. Ford 8 cents in the money. And Ride now a whopping 8 cents in the money as well. So let's see if Ride can continue to go downside. But yeah, a big day for us. A little bit of a roller coaster there on AMC, but we cashed in regardless.
And just to keep in mind, guys, I know some of you might have paid attention. Sundial, yes, they did report earnings. Yes, they have a ton of cash on hand. Yes, they have added to their float significantly in the last little bit here. So they did fall back. And I like a 150 level, and I should have been all over this the first time when it dipped down here, but it got to like a 53. I want to see if it got to 51, 52 for some support. I'll play off the high of the day for the short side, but if there's a defense to be had, I like it off of that 152 level, around that 152 level into that 150, which was key yesterday. Brendan?
CPNG, guys, we mentioned Coupang in the pre-market. Big pop here at the open from 43 up to 45.5. We're pulling back, but up initially here on volume for Coupang.
Okay, here goes AMC, guys. This is why you got to cash out, right? When you're making some money on this. This is look at all these outs. We're gonna wait to see if it does hold 14 now, and it doesn't look like it wants to do too much of that. So let's just wait to see now through 14. It did make a move. This is why we cashed out, right? So we do still have about 40% of our initial trade. So not great. Ford though, up to 87 now. Hello, we'll take some out right there. And yes, sir, more backflips. It's been a good day so far. Not fantastic, but a good one. Thank God for Ford making moves, man. We're long in this name, 650, 675, something like that. Shout out to Randy, who was in this and got out at 9, but we still continue to go high. So let's check in on GM as well. Yes, sir. Bang! GM, another hot dog winner for you guys if you're following my longer term plays. We may have something, we may do sort of a segment on the longer term plays that Neil, myself, and Brendan will give you. But GM, Ford, some of these names have just been rocking and rolling for me. We love us some Ford and some GM. AMC breaks 14, and we did get out there on that. So we're out of AMC, and that one, for some reason, slayed us, not the other way around.
Yeah, so I mean, I saw it broke down AMC. I got out sort of automatically, and then it snapped right back. Now, I'm always going to make this sort of a play here. If it does snap right back in, I want to re-enter the trade. So you're going to see me in at 03s. Trust me, it's a 1 minute candle, but this happened, and then the second I saw it come back in, I just punched in at 03s, and then we'll work back into this trade, because what will happen is you get people stopped out, trigger those stops, and maybe get a bit of a run, hopefully back into VWAP so you can make some of that money back. And again, this is why I sort of advocate the whole playing the breakout trade. Take your profit into 50, like I was saying. Play 25s into 50s, and then 50s into 75s, and then it allows you to play the dip. First dip doesn't work at 16 for me. We got out at 14. We just got the 03s, put some out at 10s. Going to take some out here in front of the quarters. If I can get it, where's my fill? Let's get more aggressive there. There's a fill there at 21. So that's going to be the name of the game. I love to play AMC in this particular fashion, guys. Just a strategy play. But watch out. Sundial is approaching that high of day. It's a 168, so not really a round number, but it is still the pre-market high.
Yeah, normally I get right back in when I get blown out of that AMC, but I didn't this time for some strange reason. Okay, let's just continue the moves, upside and downside here. Ford, look at this big move up, man. I mean, I don't know where to get this out, but I think it, sometime around now is probably a decent spot to get out of Ford. Up to 92, 93. We're long 78, guys. Big trade alert on that one. And then this is what I wanted to give you guys. Hell yeah, we talked about Ride. And now we go, okay, is it breaking? Okay, just kicks them out at 66 there. There it is. I'm bidding 61s. Give me it. No, I'm bidding 60s. Bidding 60s here on Ride to see if we can't get some out there. Not a big trade, but we did go short initially early. Then we averaged in once we developed those levels. I told you that was going to be the play for me on some of these levels, guys. Was waiting for them to develop and then hitting them when they did. So that we were waiting for that. There it is. Bang! Yes, sir, there. The cash cow is back in the building. I'm here, guys. Down to 1351 right now on Ride. The only stock we screwed up so far was AMC, and yeah, I got to own that one. We should have hit AMC a little less aggressive there, but whatever. It's bouncing back for you. I just had a bad out on that. What up, Beep?
A little solar name, guys. Canadian Solar, CSIQ, 9% higher this morning. It already tagged 46 up there after earnings this morning in the pre-market were better than expected, guys.
And so I was talking about that sundial testing to the top. Actually lost one of my windows there, so I had to go re-engage that. It does get to that 68 level. I still have that AMC in front of that 14. If I take that bounce play at 1403, I'm going to give it to the low that it made. So it was just a few pennies below that 14 mark. If it breaks like 95, I'll cover the trade. The second entry, of course, going to be profitable. The first breakout was good. The one in the middle, not so much. But I like this sundial for a bit of a retrace off of that 168. Could I have had 167? Sure, was managing AMC re-entry at that particular time. So you can't do too many things at once, but I want to come over and make sure we're at least talking about or showing you guys TKAT. It has already had one halt to the downside, retracing here, halted at 29, volatility halt, opened back up and showing some signs of weakness. It was very expensive for us to get the locates, 47 cents a share. If it makes a test, if it makes another push through the high of the day and makes another big run, I might be willing to pay that for the eventual flush down. But at this point, having missed a big move to the downside, I don't think it's necessarily worth it to make that play unless you were really capturing that reopen.
Okay. Yeah, good call on that one. We did take out some more Ride as it does go back down to 50. So Ride today getting a little spicy, and we talked about that. Remember at the open, someone said like, maybe we should look at Palantir or not, and I said no, and we'll look at some names that are a little more aggressive, a little more movement on those names. That's why we turned to Ride. We did miss this Palantir long, but I was only thinking short, so I can't hit hit the hammer for this one. We did not think that Palantir would go up today, but the NASDAQ is up, and then now Palantir is coming back in to fade back down a little bit. So watch out for Palantir here coming back downside. I'm nervous about any downside break. So 24.50 on Palantir, guys. If you're long, don't let that break. But there goes AMC also now breaking back down through 14. This may be a good idea to average in if you're still long. It's bounced off 14 a couple times. What's up, B?
Highest for the 10-year right now, guys, since January of 2020. So heads up on some of the growth names. Hall of Fame Resorts and Entertainment, HOFV, reported aftermarket yesterday. Earnings were actually better than expected for them. Gap down this morning, but just broke back above 3 there on volume for HOFV. Guys.
All right, I'm going to average in, I'm going to do what I said here on AMC. So I take a little bit here at 05. I'm waiting for some 03s, and then we'll see if that bottom breaks on AMC now. So nice little winner here. Long 05s. It's at 12 right now, guys. So let's just keep on hoping for the best on this one. 50 cents now in the money for Ride. That one keeps going, and Ford making some money too, guys.
Yeah, I made that same play at 3 on AMC there. I want to go back to that BHTG. Oh my gosh, this stock is just incredibly weak. I'm basically at this point going to short any pop I can get. I'm just going to have to leave orders in like the 230 range. Now, the only concern is, of course, if volume picks up and we're screaming through this, probably have to have a bit of a stop through that 240 and then play some other levels. If it breaks through there, we do like that 275. You just mentioned AMC, and I feel like until it stops working, going to keep doing it. Try to take some up for like 10, then maybe like 15, 20 cents to the upside here. So it's basically rinse and repeat action on AMC all morning long. Have to come back to, where are you? Oh, GameStop, there it is. So it's not that these guys are going to move lock and step, but I feel like there's at least a little part of this story is whenever you get some flushes to the downside in GameStop, it shows some weakness in AMC. Now, GameStop just made a double bottom here, very similar to what we're seeing at 14 in AMC. If GameStop breaks 213, AMC has another reason to get off these lows. It's already a reopened play. It already has its own reasons for some strength. But there's always like that fear trade element with any of these meme stocks, where if one of them breaks to the downside, it can scare the others. And the fact that GameStop is trying to hold and break out through a 213 could be the catalyst potentially for AMC to make that push back to 1450.
Let's check back. Yeah, I mean, so I'm still long that AMC, and we just averaged in again. So now my average price is 03s, guys, on AMC. Rocket, that's... I don't know. I don't really have. Okay, where's my? Yeah, it's just flush Rocket down the toilet here. As I'm in Rocket too, but I'm long the commons back down $20. You guys already know that trade. We got some out. I think my best out was 38. Didn't appreciate too much this move on the back to the downside. But Rocket, my play was going to be breaking 25, but now it's looking more and more like it's going to be breaking 24 the other way. What up, B?
So OCG, Lewis was talking about this one, just halted, guys. Halt alert here. OCG at 14, broke through 14 on a volume spike. So came down here, tested 12.5 and held at VWAP, ripped up $1.50 there for OCG, guys.
Yeah, it did. Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, anytime that you've seen a pullback like that off of the open and then the halt up, the only thing I'm concerned about, is it going to break the high? Is it going to break that 1460 on reopen? It's very likely to at least open in that range. I can't really see any chance that it's going to open, like down like $1 or so. So it's going to be a 1460 test off that reopen play. You can probably look for a scalp break on that. But if we open below, you have cover. You have the halt price at 14 even or 1403. I mean, check that. It's basically the same thing. And you can use that as cover. You can use the 1406. Just have to make sure that we actually have the locates on OCG, because I wasn't anticipating that I would want this one this close to the open. It looks like we might be actively trading it. Your name here, Sean, where is my
Ride?
Palantir?
Oh, Palantir.
Yeah, no. Well, I shouldn't say. I mean, yeah. Well, yeah. Your name, Sean Palantir, just made a look. It made like a 60-cent move. It's not a gigantic one, but then again, bouncing off the low of the day. You look at the weakness overall in the market, and you got to think to yourself, if we're not able to hold this 1450 here the second time through, it could be a bit of a short play in Palantir, at least for the scalp trade, anyways. And again, we've been talking about sort of overall yield curve, blah blah blah. And some of these other stocks looking rather weak, and especially in the tech space. It's a key hold for Palantir, but it does have some support a little bit lower. 2430 may be a bit of a bigger level, but still worth bearing here down at low of day. Brendan?
Another one very volatile to start, guys. Canada's own Liquid Media, YVR. Shout out to Joshua Jackson, who was on the show. talking about liquid media. Yeah, they're getting into the NFT space apparently, guys. So the non-fungible tokens are all the rage right now, and this company is apparently tied to that. So heads up on YVR, now down 7%, guys.
I'm trying to buy some Top Shot basketball stuff, but I can never get. I always in the queue, but I can't do anything about it. Okay, here we go, guys. Let's just take a break here. Okay, let's see. JP Morgan. I mean, there can't be a bigger DAPS for this. What's up to Daryl? I'm long this name like sub 100, and I was pounding. If you weren't joining us a couple months ago, or let's call it 6 months ago, JP Morgan, man, I talked about the dividend. I talked about building up your portfolio. I talked about some nice risk-adverse plays, and JP Morgan was one of them. I loaded the truck up on JP Morgan, and now you're at 159, 160. So what's up, guys? Right now, just flowing through on some of this cash. What a great call that was. And Disney at $80 as well. Look, you never bet that the world's going to end, guys. Never make that bet. And if someone does, I'm going to be sitting there to try to capitalize on some of those mistakes. I like a breakthrough, 159.50 here on JP Morgan. That's the high of the day. 52 is. Let's take that one more shot just in case it wants to continue to go. If the market does continue to go down, I think money will flow into the banks. And we've seen that over the last little while. That's not rocket science. There goes JP Morgan. There goes JP Morgan. There goes AMC. We're still long at 13, so making back some of that early loss, guys. Let's go.
Yeah, it just took another leg out of that AMC. Going to continue to ride this little bull towards the VWAP break here. Now, obviously, you do have that previous pre-market top, and this is where I got it last time. No coincidence, guys. Right at this 14.20 mark, right around that 14.25. That's where we took profit on the first bounce. That's where we're going to take some more profit on the second bounce. Yes, I did double dip in here. It actually looked really good at that 03 the second time through with the bid down there. Now we have to test through at some point. You know, if we actually can't break 14.30 on one of these moves, I'm going to stop reloading deep at 14 on AMC. You just can't do it. At some point, it's going to break, and you don't want to throw away the profit that you have so far in the morning. I do have to come back to that OGI. We talked about where is it? Every time I add something to my quote board today, it's like it will not stick around. So there's OGI. It is a bit of a slower mover today. I'm looking for a 4 even break at some point on this stock. Hasn't happened yet, but I want to file that one away. 4 even looking like a decent level, showing some weakness after multi-days, making some moves.
So we got out some Fords there, finally goes back up. Oh, we didn't get 95s. I thought we got some 95s there. We did it. We got some 88s on the way back up. We'll wait to see if Ford's going to go there. I did want to talk quickly about Palantir, PLTR. Of course, what would a day be on Trader TV Live without me talking about Palantir? Let's see if it breaks 2480 one more time. I'm going to take it if it goes upside one more time. We'll take that breakdown or break up of 2480. What did I just get out of? 2480 there on Palantir. Just some more AMC trades flying through there. Okay, 2480 on Palantir. There has been a bottom here, 2450. Yeah, the market's just tanking though. I was going to say maybe we try to average in and use this 2450 as a bottom. I'll probably do that, but I'm going to do it a little bit closer. Let's do like a 2450, 2458, 59, something like that. Let's put on some shares on Palantir and see if we can't start the the dance on Palantir where we buy low and sell for scalping it back and forth. So 2450, we're going to look at that right now as the bottom. The very bottom is 45, so you got to give it to that at least. And there goes AMC to the upside, so that was a good hold. What up, V?
Tekung Art, guys, online Hong Kong platform for artists is popular on the chat. TKAT is up more than 41% and hit all-time highs. Back to you.
It just made some fresh highs off a reopen. This is a stock down halted right after the open, bounces back strong. And this is what I was sort of talking about with that OCG. Same sort of thing. If it breaks the high, you got to run away from it really quickly. And that one should have opened up any second ago. You don't chase this one to the short side. The only way that I would play this is, again, if I'm paying 50 cents, I got to wait for multiple halts. If it halts up again, which it does feel like if we press through 37, there's a decent chance it's going to do that. I'd be looking for the second or third halt to the upside and then play off of any weakness on a reopen. Are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? Looks like we have a chance. We have a chance to be going into a halt here, a second halt up. If it does go into the second halt up, I'll be looking for like a third or maybe even potentially a fourth halt to the upside. So there you go, all grayed out. It's another volatility halt in TKAT. This stock is just absolutely bonkers. It's now been 2 days in a row, $5. Now to 36.44. take your profit and run on these types of names, because when they come back in, it can get rather spicy, and you can see successive halts back to the downside. For now, I want to play off of the first week reopen. These should be 5-minute halts. That's what the last couple were, so it should be open up in about 9:57.
So I see Brendan on ride as well. We're on ride over here. We just took a little bit out there as it comes back to 60s. So a good trade on ride. We've found the levels up here. We've taken it out. Our best out was 40. And then we were just waiting for the bottom to fall out, which never really happened there on ride. I mean, it did happen. I mean, that's a big move down. Just we should have captured a little bit more, but we want to make sure that we at least put some money in our pocket. So we've already done that right now on that name. Okay, Ford, I see you. Right back to 93 again. So right back to highs. Let's get some out on Ford. Palantir, we're looking to get in now. It's fading back in, so we'll see if Palantir wants to get out right now. And if it does, then fantastic. You can be part of the team, Palantir. We'll start bidding now. Where's my bids? 62, we're bidding, and then we're bidding down here 50-ish. And then what we're going to do is, if it does break through 45, we're willing to take a 20, 30-cent hit on Palantir just in case it wants to get going here with the market. Our first bid should get hit right now. Oh! It went to 63, not 60. Come on. If that goes up now, I'm going to be pissed off. Let's see if we get those 62s anyways, Brendo.
Mentioned this one earlier, guys. Upstart. Yeah. Oh, man, I got out way too early, apparently. Day highs here for Upstart. Huge move already from 87. We're now through 95, 58%. Wow, guys.
Broke that iceberg order. And it's going to be a 10-minute halt on OCG. Obviously, it would have opened up 3 minutes ago. So 9:55 or so. You just saw what happened in that TKAT, where it basically did exactly this, almost the same thing. No, it wasn't a downside halt, but it was a big sell-off, and then pounding back to the upside was OCG. If it breaks the top, very likely you're going to see another upward halt. A little bit more liquid, obviously, and a lot more liquid, I think, is going to be the difference between these two names, which is probably why I'll be a little bit quicker to jump an OCG short than I would that TKAT. But it's the same thing I'm looking for. If we can hold that 460, I think that's going to be a good level to work off of. Otherwise, clean breakthrough there. We're back, and I have to take some more profit. Every time AMC gets to 1440, in front of that 1450, I got to take some profit off here, guys. And the same thing I'm trying to do. I've been trying to get some out between 40 and 45. Like, I want to see this extend a little higher. I was able to get it one time at 47. So if this time it can do it, 1450, it still has yet to have a definitive break. It took 52s in this particular case, and then sort of slammed back down. You had to double dip here at that 14 even area. It did shake me out the first time, and I got back in. Now I'm really wanting to see it hold VWAP on any kind of a retracement, because I'd much rather be buying a dip at 20s if it can hold than digging back in at 14 even. If that's the case, I kind of feel like it's going to break at one point.
This is just so crazy what just happened, because on Palantir, remember when I was like, I'm bidding 62s and it went down to 63 and then it just ripped up? Do you remember that time? Yeah, well, it's right now. And now it's up to 80. So I waited, like I randomly picked 62s there. It goes down to 63 and then it takes off up to 80. And this is what just happened. I went long 80. Again, putting the money where the mouth is. I told you guys that we'd put some risk on if it broke back above 2480. So that's what we've done. I'll scalp some out if we get right now maybe 84, 85 just to take a piece off there, and then the next target areas there it is, some off for 85 there. And again, it's just a 4-cent scalp there. We are going to wait to see what happens around this area here, 94, 95. If we can get into the 90s, we'll take some more off. That should be a good winner. But right now, man, yeah, we're riding pretty high. Look at AMC. Bang! Look where your boy's long. 1403 right now on AMC. So let's get some out. We're back to that level that we broke earlier, 1450. So this could be a nice little top there. As bye-bye Palantir, this one also ripping as well. Your boy is back, and we have a bunch of chicken dinner winners over here, Neil. Let's go.
So we don't have shorts of OCG. I'm just going to make sure we can go ahead and get those ones. I want to be able to play. It did exactly what you thought. The only difference is you're almost impossible to get that break of the high day, 1460, but no short once you see it break. It was about to, and it looked like it was going to halt if we broke 17 even, but it's resisted it for now. OCG on the path to a second upward halt. Brendo?
We didn't get to it in the pre-market, guys. This one on the list, though. Williams-Sonoma just popped up through 158 there. That's all-time highs. We were above that, it looks like, just going into the open, but all-time highs here for WSM. Better than expected earnings, guys.
Guys, thanks for all the talk there on Twitter. Get that money, Sean. Get that money. Get that money on AMC. Thank you so much for Pro Trader? Pro Day Trader there. Thank you so much. Diamond Hands on AMC. Oops, wrong one. We're not flushing ourselves in the toilet. We don't have any mistakes today. We had AMC early, but there it is. Oh. Yes, sir. Let's go to the upside. And let's have some Diamond Hands too on Palantir, guys. A nice little win on Palantir. We're out a little bit. We're still holding half. That's not really Diamond Hands, but here we go to the upside. A nice win there, and we did cash some out, just as we said on AMC, right there before 50. So out at 45 there a little bit. Now let's hold the rest, but there goes Palantir. We got to get some out too, as some big trades happening here, and we're just dropping in some bombs right now on this trading floor. So let's just keep on going, guys. I'm at the highest spot I've been at all day.
Yeah, AMC, this is why you get out in front of that 1450. I do still have a little bit at that 1403 and 04 where we double dipped. Nikolai said I shorted on the pop. We do miss, of course, that opening trade. Went over to plug instead. That was going to be, not plug. Went over to, no, it was plug. That's right. Instead. But Nikola finally makes its break up, testing that secondary high off the open. I got 54s as the initial short price here, and no shortable shares on OCG. And this is what happened. It was about to halt at 17 even. It rejected that halt. That's another type of trade. We'll get into that another time. When a stock is about to go into a halt state, it has that 15 seconds where if it does not make that move, it can only go down. It can't go up from that point. If it doesn't halt, sometimes you get some easy retracement plays, but needed the locates to be able to do it. Saw it as it was happening, but I couldn't hit it because we didn't have the shares to the short side. But always watch out for that. And it looks like 17 should be an interesting breakout style trade for OCG. Can only go one way. Don't have to force it to the long side, but can only look for the longs here.
Yeah, we don't have to force anything. Hey, what's up to everybody with their March Madness picks, guys? I'm excited in a couple pools there. We'll see what happens. It's starting tomorrow. It starts on Friday this year, guys. So
if you're Michigan State, it starts for you today.
Yeah, Michigan State has to
Michigan State has to play in. It is what it is. They're not what they used to be.
No. So. Well, I mean, Duke, and there's a whole bunch of teams this year that are not what they used to be. Duke and Louisville, I don't even think are in the tournament. So, maybe Duke is not Louisville. Kentucky, like there's so many names. This is just a weird year. So let's just wait to see what happens here this year. But yeah, shout out to everybody not working and going to be watching the games tomorrow and all weekend. Enjoy that. Grab some nice cold one and watch a little bit of basketball there. Okay, we're almost out of everything on Ride. We talked about that 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. No, I actually have less than 40% left, so some of these must have been a little bit larger. We have about 25% left on this ride, and we're still looking out for this 1405 break on the high side. Palantir, 13 cents in the money. Its highest spot it's been at all day besides the open, so we take that 1480 break. And I'm just really glad, man, because like I know I get a lot of feedback from you guys on Twitter and things like that you like when I'm telling you, the trades that I'm willing to put on some decent shares on. And right there, I told you a 2480 break is where we wanted this stock, and we got it. And so there it is, my highest spot all day. Congratulations, anybody following that. I wish I would have been more aggressive in the 60s there, like I missed by 1 penny. That was a joke, but at least you saw it live. Brendan at the big screen, let's go.
Hey guys, 10 o'clock, let's have a look at North American markets. Yeah, it's all about the NASDAQ and the tech stocks. Once again, you can see both the composite and the 100 here. 1.4, 1.6% to the downside for each. So that's really where the negativity is coming from. The S&P is red, yes, about 0.6% you can see, but the Dow back in positive territory already, 0.04% higher. The Russell, we mentioned some small caps already, 0.9% to the downside. Struggling once again today, the TSX here in Toronto, down about 0.25%. Overall, pretty flat so far. Some energy names I noted trying to get back to the upside. A couple of things from the watch list. Yeah, Penn National getting a license in Virginia. Yeah, it's negative, unfortunately. 117 being tested right now. Day lows. That was the initial level that they got it down to right off the bat. So Penn looking like might want to break that low as we speak. This was a great opportunity. This UPST was very, very thinly traded, but did give you a really nice pullback after the initial push to 88, which was resistance from aftermarket yesterday, guys, for Upstart. Back over to you.
Upstart to the upside, sundial to the south side. Now, talked about this, and I always try to give you guys advance notice of the level I'm watching. And usually, I'll be paying attention to like a 70 or a 75 or like an even dollar range. But I did like that 168 up at the very top. Of course, I missed it for you guys. You're not going to know it, but literally one of my level 2s froze, and it was the one just as I was inputting my order. So it comes back. Does not break that 150 low. Of course, it doesn't even test the 150 low. We do come back to this little chop zone at 163. So once I see like a previous resistance point fail at the high of the day, I'm going to jump back into this at like a 163 area and then try to scalp some off. I can tell you, Nicola, we got that 15.54 short. It's resisting a little bit. Rolled over, got like 20, 30 cents in the money. Scalped a little bit out of it, and then I'm going to see if I can hold through the rest. But Sundial and Nicola to the short side. I almost said AMD. Good stock, that's fine. AMC again pushing and testing and not breaking this 1450 area. Now, this is now like 1, 2, 3 tests. One time it broke. I'm taking the long when it breaks 52s. And because of that reason, again, this is why I was taking profit on the way up. It just finally, and there it is again. I actually got that little wick. So it actually prints 52 on a dark pool. I'm almost 99% sure that it didn't even go up there. So I'm going to take off the shares that I got because that's a little crazy. It didn't actually break through that high, guys. That's a bad trigger. And that's an idea, right? So it's a bad trigger. I take off the extra shares that I added, the shares that I had down at 14. I'm willing to sort of hold on to those. That's a bad trigger. Never actually broke the high of the day. If I didn't want it till it broke the high, why am I going to hang on to it right here? That's not the conditions I wanted for that trade. I can play the pullback if I want to, but no need to sit there and pray that just because you have the shares, let's try to magically turn it into a winner. No, I want it through that 14.52 high that it failed at 9:30. Otherwise, I didn't want the ad.
Yeah, we're still diamond handsing that AMC. We just got some out though at that 14.48 right there, 49 actually. So that's a good trade. These are the longs that we have right now. So we have that. The only problem was our initial long there at 14.50 right off the open. I mean, how many times do I have to continue to make this mistake? I mean, I lost money on GE when that happened a couple days ago. I lose money today on AMC. And then if I just stick with the plan, I mean, you're seeing the kind of damage that I can do here, including Ford up today, big time trade, boom, boom, boom. But this is funny because Ford's the opposite, right? Ford, I took this in the pre-market and was wondering about it, and then about a minute or two into the market, we take that 75 break and all is well there. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but Ford, we finally got some out there at 93. We are very, very light now with 5% only of Ford, so there's no point in really talking about it. Palantir does get right to that level again, 25.05. So yeah, our little scalp game, like we've been saying, guys, I said, put on your scalper's hat for Palantir the last couple of days. I make money doing this style. I know you guys maybe can't because of the fee structure that you have, but I mean, Palantir has been a pretty big cash king for me lately. What up, B?
Just noticed this 360 Digitech, QFIN, I should say, to the upside here today. They reported it as well in the pre-market. Better than expected result. Software company. Volume, the story here. Much higher than normal volume for QFIN, guys.
And look, volume is going to be the key. One of the reasons why I backed off Sundial for so long was because it needed to have a catalyst. Post earnings, I told you guys I'd actually traded today because of the earnings. This is what you get. You get one opportunity off the high of the day. You get another opportunity off that pre-market 63 level. Going to start taking off. You can see my bids out here. I was literally telling you guys as I was putting them in, I'm bidding 60, 59, all the way down into that low of day. If it tests 150, $1.50, I should say, not $150. If it tests $1.50, I do like that for a possible support area. I do come back to in yesterday's action when you got this little push here. I mean, everything bumped when Powell calmed the markets down, and then it even bought support on a dip. That's right at this 150, 152 close. So I would defend that for a bit of a long trade. Definitely would not be holding shorts anywhere past that. If it breaks 150, I mean, certainly you can reverse, but my first test will be to try and go long in front of it. If it goes that far, we'll have a winning short trade and look to put on a long in Sundial.
Okay, and that's why we cash out a Palantir there, because now it comes crashing right back down to that same level, guys, where we're long. I'm still going to wait in the 60s here. You see this market movement. You know what? No, let's just take a little bit more shares here if we can get it at 83. We'll sit on there. It is. So now, oh, wow, it crashed through 83 and gave us 80s, but we got 83s there because we did bid 83. So now we're long 83. I still not a heavy position. We emptied the majority of them out there. That's why we took that. Let's wait to see if we can still get some longer shares here. Maybe I'll bid 70 70, and then we'll wait for low 60s and then maybe 50s just to defend this very bottom. If the market does want to pop back up, we want to have some Palantir, especially as we're seeing that it can get back into the high 90s. So I like that trade. Right now, we're just sitting on some diamonds right here. AMC out again at 49. So that was a good trade. It's having a problem with 50. I'm just going to hold these shares now, see if we can't get upside again. Breaking through 52 is a good one for sure. Ford still that 17 cents in the money, but light on this one. We're going to see what this does at 13. Yeah, big winner for me on that. Palantir doing nothing. Ride still that 4.5 cents in the money. But other than that, man, we're just cool hands, Luke, sitting on some things here and waiting to see what does happen. Alibaba maybe a buy at 237. If there's any names we're missing, guys, put them in the chat there. Valeria, let me know if we're missing anything.
And Justin in the chat there, just want to get to this here because you should always ask this question. Like we're talking fast, there's lots that's going on, and usually try to give you targets. I showed you sundial, the entry, the out, the targets. And on Nikola, I did mention I took some off on the first little dip into VWAP. I'm bidding at low of day. Remember, we talked about this on Nikola. There could be that 15 break, and it's the same thing with AMC. Selling in front of 50 and then sort of getting back in on the break, and that's the idea here for Nikola. So I'll buy back the rest of these shares, and probably this is a little too deep now that I think about it. Like 15, 20 actually probably makes a little bit more sense here. So if we do get a push through 15 even, I'm probably going to jump back into that position. So 15 break, I'll scalp this one off if I get down in front of that low of day, which currently sits at 15.12. Brendan?
Here's one we haven't talked about yet. WIMI Hologram announcing today plans to develop Holo Pulse LiDAR. It's a 3D holographic pulse laser processing device. So they're getting into that game as well. Just popped up through highs there on a huge volume spike. 6% for WIMI, guys.
And by the way, hell yeah, Ford, we just took, we didn't take some out. We're offering 90, there it is. We're offering 99s on an inverted gateway, and we just take that out right there a little bit. What a good trade for Ford today. Bang, bang, bang to the upside. We just tweeted that out, our AMC trade, but I guess this is the better one. This is my number one stock by far today, Ford, like bang. Wow. And by the way, like, Sticky, no, I didn't get a chance to show you that, but there's 1270 there. This is 1270 Ford. That's 1280 Ford. There's Ride at 14. We pegged that. You see where Ride is right now. That's at 1350. NEO, we didn't look at. Microsoft. There's that Nikola that Neil has, 1540. So that would have been my short level there. I think that's what he has. And then Palantir, watch out for that 2425 at the very bottom, and then Rocket at 25. So there it is. That is the list that you guys all want. Some of you calling it the golden ticket. There. So a little reference there, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Okay, what is this downside there? 2471. We just got a little bit more in. These are not like the real shares are going to come in when you see it down here in the 60s and 50s for Palantir. I can't mark down and tell you guys that I like the short and then load into the long. So I'm not going to be loading into anything. We are going to take the long off of this bottom here, just in case the market does somehow reverse itself. So I do like that long into 2450. 2445 there, but if we don't get it, we don't get it. Oh my God, here it comes again. Am I going to get missed again? I bid 65 there, guys. It went to 65 and I didn't get filled. So that was our next bid, was 65. F that. We missed that, but we'll go DAPS anyways. It was a good level, but we didn't get filled there. So let's put our order now to 66 and see if we get filled.
Gonna come to that YVR. We love the Canadian content for sure. Nothing but love for you over there, but multiple downward halts here. You do have one, and then a second one here off of the low of the day. So halts into low of day at 317, 318, who cares? And then we just tested that on the reopen, having some trouble breaking back up. You guessed it. If this breaks that 318 low, call it 315. It's just going to be a pylon type situation. And by pylon, I mean I'm going short. We finally actually got an actual break of that like 1450, like it breaks 52s or so, but it doesn't immediately go on AMC. So again, it just finds that little bit of a resistance point. It's actually trying to hold up here, but YVR going to be shorting through 315, and then AMC just tried to break through at 1452. I got 52 half to the long side. Brendo?
Another one that's pretty weak today. Jumaya, we've mentioned this many times. JMIA down on an offering this morning. They announced pretty big at-market offering in the pre-market there, so just breaking through 45 again on big volume, guys.
Okay, so just a new trade alert. We'll hit the new trade alert button here that I've sort of created. It's a siren. So we did take Rocket short through 24. So here it is. Okay, Palantir, we're loaded up on you. Can you Bang! Nice little out there on Palantir as it gets back to 80. We got that 65 there long through. Okay, so here goes Rocket. I don't know if it's going to go or not, but it's very, very weak. It doesn't want to go. We've seen that. It's tried. The VWAP is up here at 24.20, and so we'll watch that. But a new trade alert. There it is. Look at this bid there. We went to 67 there instead of 65. Haha, tricked you, market, because it comes back down and we wouldn't have got filled again. So there it is, man. We take that 67 this time. We beat the market there. It doesn't let us get down to 65, and then we take it out right there at VWAP again. So yes, sir, once again, more slap shots. What up, Maple Leafs? Hopefully they can start winning again at some point. But right back upside 24.77, 24.78. We did it again, guys. Let's go.
Williams-Sonoma pushing again to some to all-time highs here. Just broke that 160 level. This is exactly what I want to see AMC do. On the breakout trade, it comes right back in. I take half off because it doesn't want to seem to go. I mean, it's what we do when we're scalping a trade, guys. But I don't think it's a scalp trade in Williams-Sonoma. But at some point, I mean, this market's not really going anywhere. And you get an extended breakout through that all-time high, that 155. And again, just pushing another one here through 160. If this does not push, like if it can't get to that next level, like that 165 type of area, this is one of those type of obvious reversal plays. You're going to see some people taking some profit in Williams-Sonoma if they haven't already. So if we cannot hold, we don't get to 165 and we can't hold 160, I'll look for a quick little short off the previous high in Williams-Sonoma, which was like a 160.60. Brendan?
All right, market testing lows here, guys. We looking for some weakness. PDD, we mentioned this yesterday, if you remember, had a big move down in the pre-market, mostly for Pinduoduo. We're heading back towards these day lows already for PDD as well, down about 5%.
Yeah, this market moving down is a little scary here because I'm long the majority of these names. We are, of course, short Rocket. I'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so just to talk about Ride. This one, the market coming down, I don't expect this to follow. Let's go, Palantir. I don't expect, okay, here we go. I was gonna say, I don't expect this one to follow the market to the downside, and I just noticed that it's stopped too many times. We got a whole bunch out at 60 here, and then again when it broke higher, and I just put another bid right here. So if we can get filled down here, we'll hold the rest. But Ride, if it breaks out, I don't mind the long here, but we do have to watch out. I think the short may be done now in Ride, maybe. Again, I just planned it out for you. I'm going to get out at 60. We're short 83, so if I could take another 20 pennies, you see the damage that's been done on Ride there. So, okay, Palantir gets going there. I was excited when it touched 80 again, so we're going to put another offer there just in case it goes back to 80. You see where we're long, what does it say, 72? So we're long 72s off of these two bids. That's a 72 there, and this is a 67, plus the add our 82, so it gives us right in the middle. Ding, 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 and it just went right back up there to that level. So we're going to get out now 78, 79. There's a 78 out. We just took that. We'll offer, we'll offer some 80s now on the upside for Palantir. Come on, let's go. Slippery slope there with you. And then just to check back, I'm only giving this to VWAP, man. Rocket, we could have made it, like, I had these options on Rocket when this thing was like at $40, and I just thought it was going to moon even more, so I only got out of half of what I had, and now it looks like they'll expire virtually flat. So that was a big mistake. But hey, if you're not trading and taking risk, then what are you doing? 24.20 is going to be the out on Rocket. So there it is. And there we go, Palantir. Still trying to go. So I'm offering some 80s. Oh, there we go. Got some size here. Let's see if Palantir finally wants to go here, guys.
Yeah, I'm going to periodically we'll do this for you guys. We're not going to open anytime soon on that TUYA. You'll certainly see the volume of interest on that open go even higher. It's not even the biggest one. You'll see some halt trades in there as well. So we will get to that when and if it does open up for you guys on the show. I already told you a couple of times this AMC 1450 break has just been annoying. We had some good dip buys. We had one breakout at the open. That was the quarter mark. Try to play that 150 once, now twice, taking it out each time, going to get that 10-cent hit. If you're going to play a dip, we still like that 14 area, and I'll give it another crack because at some point when this thing goes, as long as it keeps holding VWAP, it's going to be a solid break, I do feel like, and I still think we have a shot to get to that 15. It, of course, is expiration date yesterday. We just talked about Williams-Sonoma. And then basically almost immediately, you do see a temporary failure through that previous high there at 160. 160.60. It did not get any higher than a 161.70. Even if it tests only back to VWAP, you're talking about like a couple of dollars here back to the downside. The market is showing some cracks. The ES at the low of the day, the NASDAQ breaking through those lows. So something up 17% with a fantastic follow through, starting to taper off on volume on that little breakout, just rolled into the short here. We use the high of the day as an out. Looks like AMC was a good idea to cover on that 50 break. Headed back down, it cannot seem to sustain that price.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, guys, like, these were easy outs for me here at 50. We're holding a very, very small percent. We're holding 10%, just in case that did moon. But AMC, bad trade early and then a good trade late. So that seems to be the case with me. And thank you for the super chat there. A shout out to Rusty. What up, Rusty? A smooth $5. That'll go to Valeria's Starbucks fund. Thank you so much for that one. And yeah, I'm sorry if you guys have a drinking game with Palantir, but yeah, that's not going to work out well for you.
That's a problem.
That's going to be a problem for you because you know, I'm going to keep going back to the well and keep cashing in every single time. DAC down to 65 again for that name. So let's just keep on waiting for you, Mr. Palantir. Drink up. Oh, shout out to Shakib. Shout out to, sometimes when I open this, the water goes flying. Not this time. Shout out to all my Hydration Nation members as well out there. Shout out to Neil. Shout out to my boy Arun as well, drinking it and pounding it back there. Hopefully he's having some success on some of these futures trades today. But however, I don't really see the futures doing a whole hell of a lot here other than moving down. So if he was short, I get it was okay, but this is pretty choppy right here. So let's just wait to see what happens with the NASDAQ. Really, what did I just get out of there? Nothing. Okay, so just waiting for Palantir to go back up. Rocket still doing its little dance here. I may average in one time right about here, 14 or 15. I think I will. We'll put an offer there, and then we'll just see if it does get back to the upside. I'm short Rocket, but I have a feeling I should be long Rocket. So we'll try one more time and see if we can't quickly scalp this out. If it does break that back down below like 2370 or so, we'll take it out. But I want to take one more spot on this name right there as Palantir drops to 65 again and now back to 80, guys.
I mean, this is like the slowest, it's like slowest flush ever. Am I wearing the same shirt? That graphic is right here. That's actually pretty interesting. Anyways, this is like the slowest grind to the downside on Sundial here. Like you get these trades, and again, this is a $1 stock. So you got to keep things in perspective. If it sits in a range between $1.50 and $1.65, it's not to say that it has to, but you shouldn't be surprised. This is what the day looks like. The days of it basically going absolutely haywire are a little bit done. You can see why I'm going to have orders down into this little chop range. You identify these areas where there's all kinds of support down around the low 150s, and then it tends to spend some time in that price range. So take your profits when you get that type of a look. Does anything stand out to you up here at 168? Yeah, I hope so. If it ever tests and it breaks through that high, I do still like the reverse into long. I still love the idea short 66, 67 if you can. And again, only if you have like direct market access and it makes sense for you to make that kind of a smaller trade in terms of 5 to 10 cents worth of gross and 1 penny worth of risk or 2. And then maybe reverse into the long, into that 175 top, guys. But obviously Sundial in a very, very tight range today, despite the fact that it's post-earnings. Right, so you can anticipate that there's going to be some crazy action, but that's not always going to be the case for you. Nikola, which is the other short that we have on here, and I always do that, which is go to NY. For whatever reason, I think Nikola's on the New York Stock Exchange the first time through. Does not get down towards my last bid, but still holding VWAP for now. I'm not going to give it to the previous high. If it shows me the idea that it's not going to retest the low, I can always get out of this trade, revisit it at like 15.90 to 16 even where it was at the open. So I don't want to turn this into a big time loser on Nikola. The better trade would have been the break at the open, which I decided against. I won't compound that missed opportunity by turning a winning trade into a losing trade here on Nikola. So break even stop for the rest and then reassess at 15.80. And one more time, I will try you if you can get there through the top, AMC.
Spin it. Money, 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 money. It's your favorite graphic for a reason, I think, guys. Look at this. Palantir right back to the upside. We just got out 86s, 87s off of some of these bids. I mean, Tyrone, you said that we play this like a fiddle. What are we playing it like today again on Palantir? Just another positive stock for me to put that in the pipe there and watch what happens. And look at Ford, man. We told you we were out of it. I'm holding like 2% now of this Ford position. Look at that out right there at 13. So it doesn't get much better than that. And then, by the way, too, Ride comes all the way back down and ticks us right out there. Perfect in, perfect out. We've just been crushed Ride today right there. It does come back down. We should have probably got a little more short there. It's Brendan at the board right now as we'll drink some more water. We'll make some more winners and we'll get right back to you guys. Brendan at the board.
Hey guys, yeah, small cap time. Real quick, we'll do a bit of a review here. BHTG, one of the names on the list this morning, small cap world. 240 came into, or ended up being a little bit of resistance in the pre-market. If you're looking at it very, very early, you had to be 260, 275, 280 was this kind of consolidation. Popped up again today, so I was kind of interested in this one. Not a lot of eyeballs on it. 240 ended up being a level. We're down to $2 right now. Should have held some, apparently, because looks like it's going to go through. $2. Ride. Yeah, I was just saying to Sean, I really thought this thing had a bigger move in it today, but 14, definitely the level. As long as we're below that, I'm going to keep shorting it in front of 14. So just chopping around, not really doing much, but a couple of opportunities on Ride. And another one, Can F from yesterday popped up again, 7%. This $3 ended up being a bit of a pivot here in the pre-market, gave you an opportunity down to 270 for a quick trade. Guys, back over to you.
Speaking of quick trades, this one didn't pop up until this volume spike to the downside here, and that's going to be Roblox through 75. And this is what I sort of mean. Apologies, you guys can't actually see the volume indicator, so I'll do this for you. Just extreme, showing you on volume breaking down through 75, made a bottom about $1.50 lower than that, and then almost immediately a retracing. So showing at least a little bit of a strength through that price, but that's a bit of a floor on Roblox. I didn't really see that one coming. And again, it can be a bad sign for the other IPOs when a recent one, in this case a direct listing, shows some weakness. If it cannot hold above 75, I'd probably be playing that break to the downside again. It's right here on the bid. So looking for a quick little break on Roblox 75.
When you see that money coming down, it only means a couple things, boys and girls. CCL, again, another winner right now. Long through this break of 24.14. We waited. I was telling you I didn't think CCL had it in it today, so it does make the move down. We were talking about a 30 break, and I just didn't make any sense, but this kind of does. Now we're battling back. It breaks through VWAP. I missed the VWAP trade. Go over to it, like it a lot. We put that money in it, and now we're crushing that name, and we're crushing right now Palantir. That's back to 90. CCL. Man, the damage continues here. More cowbells for you guys. Rocket, though, rocketed me out on the upside. What's up, Brent?
Another one looking a little bit strong now, guys. Nikola. We were talking about negativity, more negative news stories for Nikola, but did hold higher here. 1530. Watch that last little resistance point, 1555. Nikola also looking like it's trying to get higher, guys.
All right. I got you, Palantir, up to 92. Now we're getting out of that one right now. Okay, so if Nikola's running now, watch out. I know Neil was looking at the short. I liked 1540 as well. We'll have to look back on that. Neil's trading it.
It's right at break.
Go ahead. Yeah, take it.
It's basically right at break even for me. So, I mean, if it breaks that little top here, I do have my stops to go. I mean, we talked about this, not wanting to turn a winning trade into a losing trade, because you can always revisit that 1590 to 16 even area a little bit later if it gets to that price. Taking out the top is going to be Williams-Sonoma, so I don't want to fight that strength too much. This stock looking like it just wants to continue higher. So you short off the high of the day. You're trying to get down at first initial push to VWAP for like a $2 win, and then you try and take even more than that in a gap retrace. Anytime you have a gap that's $25, I don't mind risking a couple of bucks off the high of the day to make that kind of a play. That's what you're going to do when it's a short trade, and you're probably going to risk making the high on a little bit of an out there. As for Roblox, I just mentioned that one to you guys on the 75 break, and then of course, as I'm sort of going through the order, and again, we're going to be talking and trading at the same time. We actually have free shorts on Roblox, so interestingly enough, but I'm not going to chase it. It did give that break, immediately went like 50 pennies, so if you got it, you could have scalped in and out for a nice winner. YVR did break that low, was able to get in at 11. It's basically holding between 310 and 325 here. My out is in that 325 mark. Again, Roblox could continue to push down, but when I take a breakdown trade, I would have wanted it to catch that first little scalp because I missed it. The real top would be a tested VWAP here. I don't mind shorting Roblox again, but clearly it was the break that you had to have at 75. Anytime you get a volume spike like that and a quick little fade back, always watch to see when it retakes that level. Could be a quick little trade for you there.
Yeah, I mean, I do like Roblox there for sure. I did buy 1 share of Roblox in my account, so I can show my kids that trade. CCL does fall back down. That's why we cashed them out. Look, you got to go back to previous resistance, right, when you're trading these things, and or support, depending on which side you're looking at. For in this situation, it would have been a broken support level right here of 30, and then that created a crater down here to 2860, 2870. So when that, when you get an opportunity to get out of some of your shares there, probably the prudent thing to do. Look at this market go, guys. Here, it's trying to get going. So we'll see. And CCL appears to be not a great stock to hold if the market wants to go. So, okay. I wanted to dump myself in the toilet. Where's the toilet one? There it is. Flushy as we go. I still have some rocket shares, so let's just get out of that one. There we go. So now we're out of rocket. We tried the rocket. I said when I took this trade, and I saw some of you guys on the chat saying, did he mean rocket long or short? I meant short, and I took the short, and we averaged in. It's like, it's a 30-cent hit. I mean, this is not anything. We're still near the highest point we've been at all day. Obviously, when this comes out, I can't be at the highest point if I take this hit, but let's wait for rocket now. I don't know if it gets going, but I'm going to wait till an honest 25 break now. If that goes, it goes. If not, then it doesn't. So whatever. AMC back on the move up a little bit now, trying to bounce off VWAP. It does touch 27, 28 there, and now it's just hovering around. Good out there on AMC. We're holding light. We're pretty light on everything right now, Brendan. Give me a trade idea, my friend.
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't look like it. But Canopy, guys, the chart's a bit of a mess. But Canopy, CGC had little news today. They arranged $750 million in new financing. So some money for CGC, 34.75 support, guys.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So I like weed names. We've talked about that, but that chart, guys, to me is a stinker. So we're not going to do anything with that one. What's not stinking it up right now? If you're a Cardano fan, we're up to one. I mean, it's not ripping that much. We were at 145, 146. Brendan remembers when I talked about this at 21 cents back in January, and it's only March, and now we're at $1.42. Going to get listed on Coinbase, so this is a cheap price for ADA probably right now, but I'm in it, so I'm getting some out right here at 145 if I can. I don't know. We'll see if it can hit me back to the upside. Let's go, Prad. Prad getting excited back there, so we say let's go for him too. He's probably on Palantir. Prad, yell out what stock you're on there. Has his headphones in.
The guy's always on the headphones here.
Neil can see the risk.
I don't know. I don't have the risk over here to be able to see the floor. I watch over there. AMC just,
okay.
I had a feeling it was AMC because it just rolled over that 1450 top. This is like a double top. We had that break each time. And this is why you don't turn breakout trades into holds, because this will happen to you guys. Now, you see this little flush here? If 14 wants to hold on a push down like this, I almost want to see it go into 14 and take a quick little like bounce back long. But when you get a failure at a top, if you hold on to it or average into it, you get destroyed. No average in on the breakout trades. It either goes or it doesn't go. And in this case, it didn't go. We did like to dip by at 1403 several times down here. If it comes again and can hold, we'll like it. Got to check back in on GameStop as well, guys, just in case that one's moving down.
Yeah, but you can check back it. I mean, neither of us have. I have AMC long. We cashed out a little bit of that one. But yeah, we're going to talk about stocks we have, guys. 2505. Bang, a great out there. And we'll do this to each other. Bang, if you guys are following it. This is the thing. I'm like piecing these trades for you, giving you the ins, giving you the outs, giving you the exact plays, guys. And here we go. We held a decent amount of Palantir. That's why we get super excited. And we just come flying in there. So we're walking on that water again, guys. And then look at CCL. DJ Khaled, it's another one right now, guys. Look at the damage that's being done today. Now we go near the highest spot we've been at all day as CCL back to the high side and another out at 24.25. Man, this is fun. If you're not having fun, then I'm not sure what's up. Brendan, what's up?
Yeah, opportunities both directions, all over the place. It's 10:30, guys. That means coming up in 45 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Yeah, Creso Pharma going to come by, talk about their Hallucinex Life and Science recent acquisition. So that's going to be an interesting one. Speaking of cannabis and psychedelic research space, we're going to talk to them coming up at 11:15. In the meantime, it is time for a Euro European update. Miss V is watching what's going on over there. What's up, V?
Hey Brandon, European markets are mostly positive. Germany's DAX is the best performer in the region, supported by automakers. Volkswagen was up more than 3% earlier today, sealing its position as the most valuable company in the Germany's DAX. But now stock is down around 3%. Back to you.
Yeah, I saw they surpassed, who was it again yesterday? They did that for the first time yesterday. I'll double check. But yeah, congratulations, Volkswagen, now the biggest German company, guys.
Holler at Volkswagen, guys, and holler at Ride, too, guys, right now. A little bit of diamond hand action here, Brendan, as we hold just a little bit left on Ride. We'll hold a small piece here just to see. We talked about that. You can do the math here and see what we're holding, but we're going to go way back to the downside now, it looks like, in Ride. So I'm glad that we did hold on to some of it. And then there's another clean out of Palantir, like out. Now let's wait to see if it fades back in. We have 20% left of this Palantir trade, just in case we did break it. But look, again, right back to resistance. Look at CCL, guys. Like, you can't do this any better. It comes up, and again, it's not about like pumping our own tires or anything. I'm trying to teach you guys so that we can, all have this kind of success. Look at CCL there, up to 1330. Even when it was back down here, 29.10, I said, this is why we're getting out, because we have this previous spot right there. So it comes back up, I sit on the offer, and I get taken out. Sometimes it's just that easy. 20-cent winner now on AMC, 7-cent winner on CCL, 15 cents on Ford, 30 cents on Palantir, 30 cents on Ride, and that's what we're doing.
And speaking of, and we talk about this all the time, and we try to get back to our members. And if you guys have questions, because I know this goes fast, and we're explaining what we see here, try to quickly show you guys what we saw on AMC there in live in real time. But if you got a follow up, join the Q&A on Monday. Every other Monday, we're going to be doing it for you guys. It's about 45 minutes to an hour. We answer and take all of your questions. And this time, the stock father himself, Mark Roberts, will be joining us. So get your questions ready for him as well. So all members welcome. If you're not a member, do sign up there, guys, so you can take part in this. It is a heck of a lot of fun. We try to have fun with it. It's all about being informative as well, guys. And then remember that YVR. Now, Brendan brought this to you. It's not just about the watch list. And we say this time and time again. The watch list is fantastic, but moves happen intraday, right? So this one, Brendan talked about this thing well before. You could have caught that little breakout off the open. It then had 2 successive downside halts. Once it did that to the downside, and this is what it's done overall in the daily, look at this 3 even sort of level. And if you look at it when it tested this level and broke through again, and on the way back, it was some resistance. A few times it spiked to 3. This is why I like this price range. Now, if it breaks 3 even, I want to hang on to some of what I have short. I want to scalp some in front of it, and I want to hang on to the rest, because if 3 goes, I do feel like we have a chance to open the floodgates to at least a 280 level, and then possibly, if it goes all the way back, pipe dreams down to 250. So YVR already put in successive downward halts. Going to scalp some of it off. Looks like we could break through that 3. Now, the reason I'm showing you $3 is because I want to get back into more shares on a 3 break. 3 is a better level psychologically than 315. It's not a ton of shares here, 50,000 shares on the bid, but certainly enough for a re-entry into this position. So if YVR goes through 3, I've taken some out in front of it. I'm going to get back into the original size on a 3 even break. Brendan?
Just saw a little downtick here in this one. Johnson & Johnson selling pressure coming in back to 160 here. Looks like the CEO is just saying they're already working on what they're calling next generation COVID-19 vaccines. So I don't know what that says for the current generation vaccines, but apparently J&J already working on the next ones, guys.
I mean, I would say that's expected though, right? Because they're gonna you're gonna have mutations, you're gonna have changing conditions, and I think you're gonna improve on the vaccines you had before. So to me, that just sort of might not be really too much news there, much ado about nothing. But it doesn't surprise me that they'd be making that change or development.
Again, guys, yeah, thanks. I mean, I see some people shouting me out there that they got into Cardano at 30 cents. So there you guys know, man. I mean, people, listening, some people anyways, and it's a risk, man. I mean, I don't recommend, crypto's not for everybody. It's a risky situation. And then there was someone else that said something about, Massimiliano, what's up, my paisan here? I'm Sean, That's Neil. I don't have short on SNDL. Okay, and then I did want to talk a little bit about it. Someone said, how many shares are you holding in order to make 20 cents on Palantir? How about one share? I mean, here it doesn't matter because we have the fee structure in the fact that we can add and remove liquidity here with Day Trade the World. And as long as I'm using I mean, I'm not holding one share. I'm just saying we can make money basically on a 1 cent move. You are right. Neil and I do trade with different share sizes. We don't post that because we don't want to be about our net. We want to be about showing you guys, strategies and learning how to trade and things like that. And I think it's worked. We're going to be popping our 200,000. This was from 100 there. I see Valeria getting really interested right now. This was for 100. And then over there, Brendan, if you show that little shot, Brendan has it on the big desk there for the 200,000 subscribers. So if you guys, thank you so much for supporting the show. If you can hit that like and that subscribe button right now, guys, that would be fantastic. Let's do a quick look on likes. It's 10. There it is. There it is, Brendan. Yeah, slow down. Is the top still on there, Brendan? Okay. Yeah, so our production team.
Double check. Yeah, no, it is.
So the production team hasn't gotten to it yet.
Yeah, no, they haven't. I'm guarding this very, very carefully, guys. So yeah, 200,000. We get to enjoy this. So help us out.
Yeah.
Make sure you hit subscribe.
Good. And then also, guys, help us out on this. 2.2K likes. Look, the show's for free. Let's just get those likes going, and then we'll see if we can't, get to 3,000 or 4,000 today as well for the likes. That'd be fantastic. A great interview coming up later as well. And like you mentioned, man, we brought you YVR when they were sub $1, and now you can see what YVR is doing today, over $3. I think it got to 4 or 5 at one point there today. So a good trade for YVR, and we brought that to you early. And by the way, we had MindMed IPO day. We had MindMed. We had Kevin O'Leary, John Ron here as well, CEO John Ron, and then a spokesman, Kevin O'Leary, I guess, was here on their IPO day, and that was 30 or 40 cents for MindMed. That thing went to $4, $5, depending if you're talking US CAD. So pay attention to some of these interviews, ladies and gentlemen.
You never know what you can learn. That's an interesting thing. And even if you're not interested in a particular space, you can always learn something new and take advantage of it. Still working into sundial in front of that high of the day. If it makes that break, we like the reverse at 168. But AMC, if I see a flush like that, I tried twice on the breakout trade. It's a dip buy that was good in the original break. But when you get a flush like that, I'm going to play off this little consolidation here. And again, this is what it was doing. It was converging into 1440 before it made that little breakdown. So into what might be another consolidation in that same range, I want to start building a position at that 39, 40-ish area. If it breaks the high, I mean, at this point, it's a 55 break. It was 50, it was 52. Oh, goodness, it was 52 twice, actually. And then now you're looking at 1455, but all kinds of resistance through that high of day. And this is another thing, too. Like at AMC, we're sitting here, we're trying to bounce off the lows here in the market, down 1.6 on the NASDAQ. But if AMC holds the low, like if 14 never breaks and we just sit in this range forever, like that break could come at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Still got to have it if it's there. So as much as I'm willing to jump into like a short, scalp some off here in front of VWAP guys and 25s, I'm still looking for that 1455 break or whatever it is, whenever it is throughout the day, so long as 14's held, and it has pretty well. Brendan?
I was just checking on Sino Global, SINO. I always thought it was a shipping company, which it actually is listed as, but apparently they're going to launch a highly secure NFT exchange with Cyber Miles. So SINO, guys, doing all kinds of volume today, up about 16% on that.
Okay, so that's another name. Oh, TKAT I want to look at because everyone is going nuts over that one. No, what is it? What is the symbol?
It's on the Amex.
Oh, it's on the Amex, that's why, okay. Yeah, we have over 47 markets, I think, on my last little research there over here at Day Trade the World. So if you see .am, that's going to be NYSE American, formerly Amex, I guess, but we still have it AM, so that makes sense to me. TKAT up that 26%, 20 million shares spread, 30, 50 cents there at times, and right now not doing anything. So I know a lot of you guys are talking about it. It is up 25%, and it was rocking and rolling. It did halt there. It was all the way upside. So right now, this is a leave for me, but if it does break back above 30, obviously there's some sort of an actionable trade there. So we'll take a trade back above 30 on TKAT. So get ready for that to start blowing up as well. And then CCL just going right back to right where we need to be starting to take some out. What another win for us on CCL, man. What what a big day. I hope you guys are enjoying it. We're near the high of the day, even though we took that hit on Rocket. This has just been fantastic. Thank you guys for continuing to support the show.
Yeah, and someone, I know you guys were thinking for some reason Sean was in Sundial. If you watch long enough, you probably know if somebody's trading Sundial on the show, it's very, very likely to be me. Still working off of, and I'll zoom out so you guys can see, get a better look at it here. Still working off this high of day. I have worked back into the short position, started at 63, scalped them out, started again at 63, and there's no way I'm holding through the high. This is one of those trades where I'm willing to make top wick and get blown out through that high and risk that 5 pennies. But if I'm starting to take profit at 5 cents all the way down to that 54, then that's essentially what I'm going to be risking here. I need AMC to break that 25 for the short to really work out. I actually only got a couple of legs out. I'm looking for a little bit more than that, but there's no way I'm anticipating it breaking 14. I'll be out of this well before 14 even. But you guys are going away from me, and you're going right to the big screen for Brendan and Sector Watch.
All right, so let's have a look at the S&P, guys. It's like as you were, I guess, from earlier in the week. We have tech back to the downside. We have banks back higher. Industrials also back in positive territory. So everyone was waiting for the Fed. They kind of shrugged that off, and we're back to selling anything that is growth-related, buying some of these value names. As I mentioned, you can see the entire banking sector, financials, all in positive territory. There's a few diversified names that are lower, but the big banks, all the individual names, all significantly higher on the day. I wanted to mention Dollar General here, 6.7% now to the downside. That was on the list this morning after earnings. So DG lower, DLTR being dragged down with that. Bookings there right beside it. 2.2% to the downside. Etsy, Pool down 1.5% as well. If you go to the tech group here, the semiconductors really the worst off right now. ENPH, KLAC, and XLNX 3.5 to 5.5. Micron right beside it there. Big, strong day yesterday, 3% downside today. LRCX, AMAT here as well. So software names, the semiconductors leading as far as decliners. Far corner over there, materials. This is the materials sector showing some strength as well, along with utility stocks. Real estate stocks are lower. Some of the healthcare names as well, also in negative territory. It's a bit of a choppy day, only 0.4%, but in negative territory, guys, for the overall market. Back to you.
So we're just going to note this Nikola, which is basically doing absolutely nothing. And again, I've moved my stop to break even a while back. I mean, literally half an hour or so ago, and we're consistently holding that 55 range. So basically got the top here. Either way, I was previously going to give it to like this 65 to 70 area. Doesn't make any sense to do that now with a lack of movement that you're seeing in particular stock. Sundial, just to go back to the name, I did talk about getting some more shares up at the top, pick some up at 66. I was at 67 as well. It didn't get that fill. And again, spread matters on this game. So at 60, these other levels, I want to add on things like EdgeX, BATS, NASDAQ, where I actually get paid a rebate to put liquidity in. But when you talk about the actual high, I'm willing to pay for that fill. So I want to get on like a BYX and just get the fill and be willing to pay like a small amount to be able to get it. And the reason why is I think if it rolls over off the top is exactly what's happening here. I want to see if I can get some out here in front of VWAP. Once it breaks that 5 cent mark from my last entry, I want to start taking profit. I still have bids down in front of 150 that if it ever absolutely flushes, I can take advantage of it. But if it wants to be range bound in the 15-cent range, I want to play inside of it to the best of my abilities. New position, Sean?
Yeah, new position, TKAT. So, yeah, good. So we're the new position working out here. It does go up to 31 for us there. So what are we long here? We're long at 30.25. We paid 25 cents spread there on the 30 break. I mean, that was the limit order I put in, and I got filled at the very, very top of that limit order. So now we'll wait to see. I got some orders here, mid 33s or mid 32s, sorry. If we can test that, that'd be great. But right now, it's just going to be one of those trades where I'm going to try to make, like I said, $2-3. So with that being said, we're going to use the bottom here, 26.27, to get out. So we could lose $2 or $3 or make $2 or $3. Let's just wait to see what TKAT has in store for us. And right now, it's looking like it wants to go to the downside. Remember, it's going to open up, so we'll probably get, like a bad out. But that's sort of, the risk you got to take when you're using stop orders and things like that. You are going to get into sticky situations with stocks that open up like this. But for now, I just want to give you guys that update because, again, I gave you the 30 spot. I take the trade. We're all about being real over here. So here we go. Real talk for real trades. Be wick.
A couple people talking about SOS, guys. Just checking on Bitcoin, not really doing anything. Remember, this is heavily tied to crypto markets. There's no significant news on this, but yeah, just popping up here, guys. SOS through $8 there on volume.
Like my gut would usually say, when you press into yesterday's high, I don't see any move on spot, which is just hanging around like 58,000. Would tell me, it's a big volume spike. It would tell me this should be like a bit of a fade off of this 815 level, but do we even have the shorts? That's the first thing I want to be able to see. Like, can we actually, yeah, I can short this one for free. So, you know what, it is what it is. I don't see any actual news. I don't see a move on Bitcoin here. So I'm going to dive into this one if I can. It's just around these levels. Good look here, Brendan. And then this is sort of what you go through when you're talking about a trade like this. I can't let it go through yesterday's high. I always go through that like previous time frame, and that's 8:15. So I know it's making a fresh one here today, 8:09. I just got short here, and again, I don't want to ever give it through the high of the day. I am always willing to make top wick. I don't have a problem with that if you're going to be going against the grain. If we were screaming to like 59 or 60,000 in spot, I definitely wouldn't have taken this trade, but I got to be willing to risk like 10 cents to try and make like 20 or 25. My hands are off the keys because my stop order is going to do the work for me through the high of the day here, but no average in on SOS. I'd be a little bit, like I'd love this a little bit more if I felt like if there was even like BS news or some reason I had behind this, but there's a volume spike, so it's a setup I'm going to try every single time. You're going to see the hit here, and if this ends up being top wick, I'm not going to chase the trade. I want to make sure I stay back from it. If it does flush through 8 even before getting to like an 825, that would be a little bit of a sign of weakness. But if I see a spike like that, and then I think this thing usually is gonna move based around the actual spot price of Bitcoin. I don't see an upward movement there. I didn't see a news story. I'll try to fade almost every single time, and we'll try to get you over to Miss V. Don't hang on to your losers. Take them off and have an out.
Hey Neil, fashion retailer Express is another popular name on the chat. EXPR is up around 26%, guys.
Okay, so I took, I missed that symbol there. I'll look at it in a second. I took some Ether short, so we'll see there what's going to happen with ETHE as it looks like it's going upside as well. So we'll wait to see on that one. Palantir still 10 cents. I'll check that name right now. I'm just looking at this AMC as we are back up to 1440. I'll just have to ask for that symbol again. I don't know if you caught that name.
It was Express here, and I'm just sort of, this actually put in a volume spike at like 10:30 here, is sort of extending again. And this is not, thank you very much. I was looking at, of course, I was looking at treasuries before, and now I can't get my charts to come off of that one. So I'll have to stick with the 1 minute chart. TLT, again, it's a good way to track the treasuries. Every now and then I do like to see where the demand is there. I don't really know what the volume spike is here. I'm going to go with go to Brennan in a second and maybe check Twitter myself to see if there was something at 10:30 on EXPR. But to be perfectly honest here, guys, this is a multi-day move. I've stayed away from shorting the stock in the past just because it's had entirely too much volatility for us here, guys. But either way, if it were to flush back towards that initial price where the spike happened, that's at like 550, I think that would be a defensible level. But I can't short something like this, which I know for me was a no-fly zone before, and you always want to make sure you have that news. If there's going to be a spike like that, I'm assuming there's something that happened at 10:30. And if you don't know, you don't have to trade it, guys.
Yo, what's up, Will? Yeah, thank you so much. I actually have a funny story about me taking a vacation. So yeah, when I was working with a salary there, I actually didn't get paid my vacation days 1 year because they thought that I forgot to put them in the system, but I actually didn't take any vacation days. So, it all got settled out. But I like vacations. I obviously have a family. I'm a huge family man. It's the reason why I trade. But honestly, man, you're not going to find me taking days off other than I do book a week in the summer to go to cottage. If you're in Ontario, you know all about what cottage life is like. So I'm going to continue to do that. But thank you so much. Puff, puff, pass on that 420. What up to Will for that one. Thank you so much. We'll do that. Look, I'm turning it up every day. And believe me or not, I think I've had like 7 negative days since October 1st. So yeah, we're making money and we could take a vacation now, but I don't want to leave you guys. You want me to take a vacation? Maybe I will. But here goes AMC now to the upside there, and continue to make money on AMC as well right now. The only position that I'm in trouble with, I have 6 positions, and 5 of them are huge and doing really well. You can see that AMC 35 cents, CCL that 15 cents, Ford, what a rocker that's been. Palantir, we know that story. Ride continues to be a success. These These are all the positions I have. I mean, look at the board. Look at the numbers that fly along the bottom there, guys. Like, it is what it is. You're seeing it every single day. I have one negative stock today, two, Rocket and AMC, as we took that initial hit on AMC. And then we are going to watch out for this. This is the one that I'm talking about right now. TKAT. We did take this one. It goes at $1, about 75 cents in the money. I didn't take any of it out because, again, the way that I was planning this trade is that I wanted, and I told you as soon as and again, this is the plan, right? This is what we do on the show. I told you where my plan was, $32.50 or so. So that's about $2 or $3. I thought we could get going again. And then the downside risk is virtually the same down here, 27, 26 or so. So we plan it out. We do that. This will help me go on vacation. Let's see some money talk right now. Let's see how Bitcoin's doing. Let's see how, I don't think they have Cardano on there yet, but hopefully they'll get that soon, Brendo.
Hey guys, yeah, currency time. We'll have a look at Bitcoin, indeed, to the downside today. It's actually basically flat right now, really not doing a heck of a lot. Right around that 57,800 mark. We were mentioning 57,700, 58,200 was that kind of pivot point that was standing out on a daily time frame for Bitcoin. But yeah, in negative territory, along with Ethereum, down 1.5%. Ripple standing out, yeah, still no Cardano quote on here. The rest kind of negative versus the US dollar. US dollar multi-week highs, in fact, versus a lot of these after the Fed basically said, as you were yesterday in their decision. Threw the Canadian dollar up here. This is a weekly chart because I wanted to go way out and see this low, which was all the way down there around 68 cents. We're all the way back, guys, to 80.8 cents on the Canadian dollar, which is a 2-year high hit earlier this morning. You can see we are negative on the day here. But yeah, got all the way up to 80.8 today for the Canadian dollar. The euro down about 0.6%, 119 and change. British pound, same story, negative territory. Japanese yen, Swiss franc, both in positive territory. But US dollar strength today, the story, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, come on, Canadian dollar. That's a little too strong. I mean, obviously, we'll trade a little bit of both, but mostly in the U.S. here. So gonna root for that USD from time to time. AMC holding VWAP like an absolute champ. So we're gonna make some money on the short trade here, but I was willing to give it a little bit higher to that to that high of day. But that's only if I was able to see a bigger push to the downside, or if it had not retested my entry price at 40s. Remember, we talked about this chop zone when it had that flush, and you heard one of our traders yell out in the back. And that's what piqued my interest. It was right into this little wedge at 1440. That's why I waited for the retrace into that particular level to short it. But if it cannot bounce below VWAP on this little pullback, I'll get right out through 40 and then go right back to waiting for that 1455 breakout style trade for you there. And of course, it was 50. It was then 52. It's now 1455, and it's still Nikola, which is doing, I mean, it's still doing absolutely nothing. And the interesting thing about Nikola here, if it doesn't make this push, and I'm still sitting down here to try to get this in front of the low of the day, at some point, you put in these higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, this market tries to get back to the upside. It's not just about getting out at 55, it's thinking about a breakout style trade. I haven't flipped the script just yet. I still like the AMC for a reversal trade. I still like Sundial to reverse if it takes out the top. I don't have to worry about that yet because Sundial is actually testing below VWAP, currently sitting on the bid here at 61s. To get more shares out, I was working it from 63 all the way up into 66. I did not get 67. I told you there. I was willing to pay for that fill. I saw some dark pools go off. None that we had access to. Well, no fills that I got. We have access to a lot of dark pools here at Day Trade the World, but none that I was able to get. But again, at that high, because it's the best absolute price, I am willing to pay to get that fill. I did not get it. I still have some bids down in the 58 to like 55 range from way earlier in the session. But Sundial, so far playing the range working. The only long I'm willing to take in addition to that breakout style would be a long in front of 150. If I see a few million shares that look pretty good on the bid at 50s, I'd go long 51, 52. The reverse of what I'm doing with the short in front of 168.
All right, guys, yeah, again, you know, good look there. Oh, I want to put this in the gates of hell because it is what it is. I took the trade for you guys and for me. I did we talked about it on the chat. TKAT was one of those names. And then look, yeah, you know, we understand this, and this is why you take the normal risk. Not a huge amount of shares. We were just trying to play for fun here, and not fun was had. Down through, breaking through 27, so right there, that's a legit hit right there. In at 30, out at 27. We took the shot for you, and it didn't work out, but that's okay. We'll just move on, as we always do, to just continue to crush some more names. Let's check in quickly. Okay, the one trade that I missed, that if you guys rewind it, I don't even know why. I must have not put, and I didn't put it in. I didn't put in the stop order, but we talked about JP Morgan down here at 159.50 off this break right here. And yeah, it went all the way to 161 and change. Now looking to fade back down as the NASDAQ, you know, the more the NASDAQ runs, the more the banks will start to come down, because it'll be the switch over, right? From growth, from value to growth. So right now, a lot of talk on value, and this will switch it over, right? So if the NASDAQ gets going, you could see JP Morgan. But I've been saying for a long time that I wanted to sell some JPM, because again, those of you that know where I'm long, you're talking about down here, 95, 96 is even some 90 bids down here low. This is where I'm long JP Morgan, and it hasn't even looked at this 50 period yet. It did a little dance there, and then when it was at 150, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take some off and rotate, but I never did that. So no rotation there on JP Morgan, out of JP Morgan, but right now still making new highs on the day. Well, I mean, it's 161, but we're getting very, very close to those new highs now. So I don't know, man. I do like the banks, but they're very, very heated right now, these bank stocks. So just be very, very careful with them at these highs. I still think it's prudent to get some out there. And Sean Dabbs, yeah, you may be right, guys. We'll see what happens going forward. If you guys caught that, then you know what I'm talking about.
Dale, my main man, first of all, thanks for the assist there. I know Sean was trying to get Mr. Davey Day Trader to get on the show there. Have we talked about the airlines today? I don't know, but let's have a quick look at Spirit if we can. My corporate's giving me all kind of trouble today, and it's been a pain in the butt. I love double tops. I like psychological levels like a 40. I mean, it feels like, Daryl, maybe you've been watching too long, because at times are you going to read my mind in terms of levels that we're going to like. And there you go. That daily chart giving me a problem. Here's the thing with 40. Now, you get a fade off of 40, no problem, because it's failed break central over here. If you look at Spirit Airlines, it's broken this 40, gone like 50 pennies or so, and then fail. Yesterday's Powell top, whatever you want to call it, pre-market levels, basically the same thing. That's absolutely crazy on that buyout. And then 40 level looks like it's going to be a fade for me here. But if you take a break, this is similar to AMC. It might be better through 40.50. So as much as I would like the short trade here for the regular style, you just be a little bit careful. I got to fix that daily chart. It's going to be a bit of a pain in the butt. I think you are scalping off this 40 level, and you can definitely play it, but you got to be willing to take 20, 30, 40 cents on a 40 breakout here. If you see what happened the last time Spirit Airlines got through here, guys. So that's what I would be looking for and say, it looks fantastic for a setup and you can play it in both directions, but I'm always weary when you get those failed breaks and when you're trying to extend a move. Like, it's got a $1.20 range on bottom to top here. So if you're taking a breakout through the high and you think there's resistance at 40, 50 pennies or so into that move, and then it's a bit of trouble if it reverses, well, what's going to be wrong for you? If you give it to the 70 to 75 area, risk to war, it's fine. If you wanted to be giving it back to VWAP, well, then you better think it's going to 42 and it's breaking through that 40.50. And that's what was some trouble in AMC on those 14.50 breaks. Sometimes the dip buy is just a little bit better of an entry, especially if you have some conviction in the stock, because everyone's looking at that same break, Daryl. Yes, the 40 looks pretty good for a rollover short, but a reversal into a long, I don't know about that one in Spirit for me.
I'm seeing some people talking about, okay, so JFIN, a lot of people want to talk about JFIN. We'll look at that in a minute. And then people like some of those lines. I mean, like, if you're watching the show enough, I'll be busting out some lines and quotes for you guys all the time. So yeah, good one there. Not fun was had. That was someone's new favorite. So good one on that. Someone said Rocket taking off. Taking off where, man? It's been grounded right now. So Rocket can blow up right now. It's not doing anything. Was that Bitcoin? I didn't know we had
We do. I keep saying that one of the things, like, if you look really close, those are Bitcoins. And personally, and this is not, by the way, our crew does a fantastic job. Rob is an animal when it comes to animations. I think they're absolutely fantastic. But I'm just going to throw this out there. It's kind of low-hanging fruit to turn Sean's into something representing Cardano. I'm just going to throw that one out there. I mean, I'm old school because I have an economics degree, so I'm like a gold, silver, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and I tend to stay in my lane with that one. But Cardano's a great call. Why not give him that look on the keys and give me the Bitcoin one that we have here?
Look, I've made a lot of money on Cardano, but I still hold more Bitcoin and Ether than I do Cardano. But it's just been an incredible run for Cardano, and we'll just continue to cash that in. So, yeah. Look, I've been talking about Bitcoin for years, guys, and so hopefully you guys are on that name as well. And if you're not, that's fine. I mean, it's not for, like I said, crypto's not for everybody. I am a believer that it needs to be a certain percentage in your portfolio. Mine is more like 10%. I think that's probably super aggressive, but I don't care. Look at the money that it's been making for us. It's just been incredible. And I've just recently bought more Square. You guys know that. And I was a buyer in Square all the way down. I actually have a 35 print in my account on Square. So that's how much I believe in fintech. PayPal was my call of the year for 2020. That went from 108 to 270, or what the hell's PayPal at right now? You saw what PayPal's been doing. That was my call for 2020 as well. Yeah, so 242. I mean, it got as high as, what was PayPal's high here? Let me check. Did it get to 300? I don't even remember. Yeah, 310 there, PayPal. So that was a good one. I've been cashing out of PayPal. I didn't get anything out upside now, but I want to hold this name, so we just cash out when it gets, 3x your call. You got to take some out, but I was taking some out at about 2 times, and then a little bit in this area when we had some consolidation. So we're right back to where we are, but I have been recently a buyer of Square and a buyer of AMD. I love the semis. We just bought AMD the other day for 77, I believe. So although it went to 84, 85, yeah, here it was, yeah, right here on these dips. Look at this bottom. This is the kind of bottom, guys, that I was talking about back in the day with JP Morgan, with Square, with AMD when we bought it at 50 down here. Guys, we're long AMD at 50. Now we're long again here in this area. You got to pay attention to some of these plays if you are a longer term investor. But I know you guys got it all. And I believe we have Daryl coming on Friday. So that'll be great. Tomorrow, I believe, is Daryl, or if it's next week, not too sure. But Daryl's coming back on the show for another guest trader to follow up on Marcelina's footsteps. Although Daryl's been here before. What's up, B?
Yeah, one of the originals. As far as guest traders. Yeah, it'll be fun to see and speak to Daryl again. This one, guys, another little Chinese name. Mentioned this right out of the gate this morning, was going crazy, but this JFIN, J-F-I-N, 100% now. Just broke $11 on crazy volume. I don't see news on this, but JFIN off to the races, guys.
JFIN on the move once again. I mean, I feel like that stock is always going to be absolutely crazy. I just want to come back and look, we're talking about some of the names that are moving here. I know on the watch list was Luminar. It does not give you the breakout trade to the upside. It actually ends up flushing down. Now, the way I wanted to trade this one was only on strength. Can it hold that? I always do that, where I show you the actual move where it breaks instead of the actual support. So there you are. If it had held this level and given you a breakout through 31.25, I would have liked that sign of strength to play into it. If I'm going to have a bias long, I'm going to be interested in a bottom pick here. So, and it's not that these levels matter, but it's worth noting when some stocks get ramp ups after 7 o'clock or into 8 o'clock. These dip areas tend to come into play, and 28 was one, is what it is. Bouncing off of 28, 1, 2, 3 times here on Luminar. This does give you a bit of a look for a 28.70 breakout. We're creeping up here in the market, maybe trying to test that 13,000. The NASDAQ is holding steady down about like 1.5% here. So you do have the opportunity for some names to move back to the upside, guys. And I think if you like this name, it had the long bias, and that's what I was trying to do today. I'm going to have this one on a 70 break, a 65 break. I'll get in a little bit earlier just because if it tests that like this level here, this little dip, and then you had this big little wick down here and then try to pull back into 28.85, I'd rather be fading into that, and then if it fails at 85, I'd actually get out for a quick profit or a break even instead of having to hold throughout that low of the day. So I'm going to put my stop order to go in long, 28.65 here on Luminar. Looks like a good look for me. Running into some resistance on sundial. Well, I mean, had been for the entirety of this trade. Down around here. Like every time I go short, this is the bottom when I shorted 63 the first time. This is like 158. The last time we actually got in our last entry point at 166. I know it's going to show me short on sundial at 166, but guys, I had 63, 63 half. I had some at 64 half. My average price was about 65 overall. The biggest entry was at 66. And again, it cannot break through 58. So I'm not going to reload on this to the short side unless it's either breaking this level and then I can get a breakdown of 150. I'm going to go long first probably. And then, or unless it goes literally to 66, 67. So at this point, I only want the best prices possible if I'm going to be taking more shares in sundial. For whatever reason, there's a buyer at 50, 58, 59 that can't seem to be broken, and I run into resistance. You can see every single time it gets here, I take 61, I take 60, I take 59, and it goes this far, no farther for me on Sundial. But if I see a short setup on the stock, you guys watch the show, I take it basically every time.
Okay, good. Yeah, Sundial's a good one. I'm going to take 28.50 on laser. I play the 50s, so it breaks out enough for me here. We'll take that on LAZR just to see if it goes upside, and then we'll use, we have some bottom plays. So it's kind of like really well structured to get out of that one, so that's no problem. We're trying to let AMC do something, but right now it's not doing anything, so that's okay. And if it does go, then we'll go again. I'm still waiting. I want to take out the high. I know that sounds ridiculous, but again, I'm not going to play AMC if it's doing this, because when it gets down, this will happen to me again. Like my stops will trigger because I'm not going to hold everything forever, so I'm going to wait for a decent break. We might get one here at 1440. So AMC 1440 will be my next trade if that comes through, and then more shares, like a real position if it does take out the high. I'll put on a real position here as well, but we will like to see a 1450 break before we get super serious. I mean, upside. Look at Carnival, just continues to go now. 30.35, it's now higher, obviously, than it's been at any point. You can look at the open. I don't really take some of these opens as really day high, although obviously technically it is. But right now, we're now reaching new highs for the period, I guess. So, we dipped down here. These were great buys down here, and then now we get to the upside, so another win for that. There goes laser. So we're long at 55 right now on LAZR, so let's give this a little bit of room. Not a huge amount of room, but there we go. We are in this position now. We pay, again, it breaks 50 and I get 55s. 5 cents. I mean, it is what it is. When you're trading bigger shares, sometimes that happens to you. You take, a little bit of a higher price because your order, depending on the share size, runs in and hits it, and sometimes can definitely affect that. 28.66, 67, not bad. 28.80, better. So we'll see if we get some out at 28.80 to start with here on LAZR, guys.
Lasers. I love that stock. Got the last out here, and we're running into some trouble on AMC getting to the downside. I wish, and it would have been fantastic if it had actually made this move down into like $14. That's just a late dark pool. And oddly enough, where's that dark pool print? 1403. Sometimes I wonder about this. I get these late reporting prints. And one of the reasons why you're going to see this entry here after I got flushed out at 14 even and got right back in at 1403 and then back in at 1403. Yeah, there was some interesting deep prints that made me like that price twice the second time through, and then you get one of those little downward dark prints. I don't know, it's just kind of amusing to me. I get out of the short trade here. I still like the long through 1450, but I felt like got to make some of that money back after failing, guys. And we showed you guys this as it was happening. It broke. It actually didn't break the high here. I just got an early trigger. Changed to a different stop order. Got the trigger here when it actually broke the high. It literally went 2 cents. And then flushed back in. That's when I actually took it out for like a 10-cent hit. Well, a little bit shy of 10 cents, and then actual 10-cent hit here. Shorted that same 40 price, worked it to VWAP. It couldn't seem to go any further. AMC starting to fall asleep a little bit here, so I'm not going to overtrade it. I'm going to wait patiently for that eventual hopeful breakout. I mean, it doesn't have to break, guys. So you can be waiting for that all day long, and you don't want to force those types of things. Haven't talked too much of GameStop, and this is sort of the thing. I'm not saying it has to go for AMC to go, but you would think it's a bit of a good sign that it made that bottom, now holding VWAP as well. AMC is a reopened play. It's also the meme play. Any take in the top of GameStop, and I would probably like that AMC breakout double. That's just the reality. If we're taking out like 2020 or any of those highs here, sorry, 220 or any of the highs in GameStop as AMC is about to go, yeah, I'd probably like double up and then definitely maybe I'd be scalping some of it out because it's a momentum play and then trying to hold the rest on AMC. Still think we can get to that 14.75 and then 15 mark, which we were talking about earlier. That's what 14s gave you. That's what the quarters gave you. Let's see if 14.50 can do it in the afternoon.
We have an exciting interview coming up, guys, so stay tuned for that one. Coming up with Brandon Wickens shortly. We'll be on that. So there's CCL, a beautiful out there, 29.35 off of this 15 long. So, another good one. We basically had this the whole way. It's crazy because look at this VWAP, man. I got to just stick. This is why I'm trying to focus on the names that I have, because this gave us how many opportunities. We could have bought it back down here. We could have bought it again here. And now CCL just continues to go to the upside. Check back in on Laser. lasers right now, not doing anything. You know where that's from. That wasn't a great impression, but if you know where that's from, good for you there. As I saw some more Canadian someone who was, it was Josh Brown that quoted Wayne's World yesterday. Shout out to Garth and Wayne, Mike Myers and whatnot. If you don't know those two characters, guys, definitely watch some Wayne's World. Kind of reminds me of our production team a bit.
Camera one, camera two.
Okay, back there, 2880 is the next spot. So right now, guys, look what we're rolling with. AMC, 35-cent winner, getting ready to get more. CCL, 20. This is what I have on. CCL, 20-cent winner. Ford, this is besides all the money we've made on other names. Ford on. Laser on. 2 cents in the money. 5 cents in the money. 10 cents in the money. Palantir. Not doing anything. I don't know. This one's whatever. Ride, 15 cents in the money. So yeah, it's been a big day. Oh, let's check back on TKAT quickly. This is why, guys. Like, look, you have your area, you get out. This is a loser, a $3 loser with not many shares, but still a loser. So we talk about it, but that's why you have your outs, because if you don't, you're holding the bag for a while on this one. Let's go laser. Let's go CCL. Look at these outs on CCL. We're just waiting for laser. That's my biggest position. So I'm sit back, relax right now, and we have some offers out, 70s and 80s on this one, and then let's see if it goes back to days high or at least into the 30s, guys.
Yeah, can't sip the cognac while we're trading, obviously. But I just finally got mine into laser. I like 65 a little bit better for reasons we already talked about. So let's just go on to the next here, because I have to come back, and we always try to go over our positions here. And sometimes, you can have a winning trade and then sort of think about it as like, it's a bit of a mixed result here on Nikola, because it did take up my attention for a little bit, and then it's been a bit of a waste of time, especially because I wasn't willing to take some out here in the 25. And again, if I had taken some out at 15.30, then I'm probably reloading at 50s and then getting like that rinse and repeat for 20 cents. But I mean, Nikola, obviously, if you're getting that kind of move, I expected a little bit more out of that short trade. Possibly testing that 15, like we said, we'd get out in front of 15, and then we'd get more short when it broke, just to see if it can test the higher lows that it put in, about $1 lower than here. It hasn't had that kind of weakness. I know it's down 6%. The follow through just has not been there for Nikola. So probably not going to be the most exciting stock for the rest of the session. I'm probably going to have to throw this one away. You could have a positive trade and you look back on it and say to yourself, that stinks. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like it. I want to come back to Williams-Sonoma. We do talk about the winners, and of course we talk about the losers as well. And anytime I'm taking a short off of, you get the opening range, and I'll call it the first, like, it can be like 5 minutes, it can be 10, 15 minutes. But if there's like a fail break, so it breaks through that a little bit later on in the session, 10, 10, 30, and then you get a bit of a pullback, I like that short setup. However, you've got to give it to, and here's the issue. I actually, my stop order was incorrectly placed. So I had to get out of this manually. It broke 161.75, which was the high at the time that I took the short, right? So my stop doesn't trigger. I get out myself an extra 40 cents worth of a hit. Not bad if I was willing to risk $1.50 to $2, but you cannot average into this type of a trade. You can't hold it to oblivion. If you're going counter trend here, that's one of those setups people like to call a bull flag, whatever you want to call it. I really don't care. I like playing against it because the risk to reward is going to work, especially if it's shown some weakness already at the open. But you've got to make sure you have an out when you're making that type of a play. I'm always going to do that. And that way, you can win 1 in 3, 1 in 4, as long as you have the risk to reward. Whereas like a breakout style trade, you really need to be hitting those and winning like 70, 80% of the time. With that style of a setup, you can get away with it, but you cannot hold to oblivion, guys. You see these traders that'll be like, oh yeah, I just short into it, it's gonna fall eventually. Okay, that's nice, except when it doesn't. Right, and then you're losing your week or losing your month, that kind of a thing. So it's just my style of trading for these shorts. Would it have worked at 168? I don't know. Sure, fine. But at that point, it's off of my radar unless it made a parabolic move up or gets a fail back in through VWAP, guys.
So I talked about this earlier, and it's just hilarious because there it is. Look, here's the Roblox. 1 share. You see what I'm talking about? 1 share right here, 73.66. We bought that. I told you, I told my kids that we would buy a share. So there it is, Roblox, 73.66 right now. That's the price. We're in at, I guess, 75.64. I don't know, 100% of the portfolio. This is a brand new account that we opened up for TFSA purposes. So 1 share, we just tested that on Roblox. So that's just hilarious. I just wanted to show you guys that. I do want to buy Roblox, but just like a lot of the IPOs that we've had come through, New York. Isn't it New York? Yeah, it's New York. There it is. Like a lot of the IPOs that have come through, Roblox needs to do work, right? So you need to, I love buying these things. Like, come on, Roblox. I love buying these things well sub its IPO price. You see where C3 AI is. You see where Lemonade, some of these stocks have traveled to. If Roblox can get anywhere back down to 64, 65, I think that's worth where you start dipping and then we retest some lows. But right now, Roblox not heavy, obviously, in any of my accounts. So there we go, Roblox to the upside right now. And we'll wait to see what it wants to do, down 3%, but that's would be a fun one. We took some off on Laser for 10 cents, but it's not doing anything, so we'll wait on that. Thank you for the shout outs online here. I see about BFD. I bought some more at $12 on that dip down here. We bought, let's go charts. We bought down here 12.70. As soon as the show ended on this chaos day, I went over. I wanted more BFT, so we take that one. And then the other, and again, I have no problem telling you guys these. And the other name that I'm in is STIC, right about here. If you check a day chart for STIC, it's ripped up. We didn't buy highs. We bought, actually, no, I guess I'm long probably around 13, 14. I'll find out exactly for you after the show where we're long STIC, but this is going to be BarkBox, which brings me over to Woof today. That's on the NASDAQ. We talked about this early and really haven't looked at it. Over 4 million shares today on Woof. And again, this is like what I'm talking about. Once you see an IPO get beat down, there are buying opportunities come through. So Woof today not doing much, flat on the day, 0.21, guys.
Yeah, and I'll say this right now. You threw Lemonade in there, but I really hope Lemonade doesn't go to its IPO price. That's like, it was down around like $40, $50, right? So that would stink. Let's not do that. Although you got to take some profit. I just took some too early, and I'm back into that puppy. We talked about that at like 90. So let's not go to 40 on that. YVR. We talked about the Canadian content. Love ya. Great story. This took forever. I really did think when we originally got that breakdown trade at 310, I was going to give it to I was going to give it back into this like pre-halt range top, guys, and then it's like it goes into $3. Bit of a bid at $3. So you can see this from Sundial. What I'm going to do here is put bids in front and then say it needs to break 3 and then I'll add to it, right? So get back into the original position. If it breaks the $3, that even range, it tests higher, it holds 25 where I move my stop after I took some out. And then all the way later, and it only took, an hour? Finally breaks 3 even. I get back into this one, so my average price now 304. I am bidding down into the 2 to 75 range to take some profit. But YVR, it's a slow grind to the downside, but it is headed down. And we are headed, we waited for it, here we go, to Brendan for another one of our awesome interviews. Let's get the introductions.
All right, guys, thank you. The psychedelic medicine space continues to expand almost on a daily basis. New participants entering the space. Creso Pharma normally operates in the cannabis sector, but acquired Hallucinex Life Sciences earlier in the week. We're going to talk to Bill Fleming, who is the president and CEO of Hallucinex, and Jack Yu, who is the managing director of Mernova, who is the Canadian subsidiary of Creso Pharma. Gentlemen, great to have you on the show. Thank you for doing this. We appreciate your time.
Brendan, thank you.
Jack, I'll come to you first. On Monday, we got the announcement that Creso Pharma was acquiring Hallucinex Life Sciences. We'll talk about Hallucinex in a minute here, but let's start off with a little bit of a background story on both Creso Pharma and Mernova.
Creso Pharma is an Australian-based international pharmaceutical company focused on high-quality CBD products such as Cannabis for humans and Cannabidiol for animals, in addition to cannabis and Cannabis 2.0 products through its Canadian subsidiary Mernova, a licensed producer focused on producing high-quality cannabis and Cannabis 2.0 products. We currently sell our Ritual Green brand of cannabis products in Nova Scotia, the Yukon, and New Brunswick, and they will be available for sale in Ontario in the next few weeks. Our new Ritual Sticks brand of pre-rolled joints will be available in Nova Scotia soon as well, along with hash, which will be sold under our Ritual Black brand. As sales under our VP Isaac Allen are really beginning to take off, we're also seeking to increase supply through partnerships and or acquiring additional grow capacity through acquisitions as well as future expansion on the current property in order to meet the growing demand for our Ritual line of high-quality cannabis.
All right, Jack, so the acquisition itself, let's talk about that. So Hallucinex Life Sciences brings, obviously getting into the psychedelic end of things as well. Tell us what the acquisition brings to the company and a little bit about it.
Creso Pharma has acquired 100% ownership in Hallucinex, which marks our entry into the emerging global market for psychedelics, which is projected to be worth up to $100 million US in the future. With the acquisition of Hallucinex, Creso has become one of the first full-spectrum pharma 2.0 companies in the world, possibly the first to offer high-quality CBD product, cannabis products, and soon psychedelic products as well through Hallucinex. Creso is at the forefront of the new wave in health and wellness, and we expect psychedelics to revolutionize the field of mental health and wellness specifically, and we're well positioned to succeed in this field with the acquisition of Hallucinex.
Speaking of Hallucinex, Bill Fleming, CEO of Hallucinex Life and Sciences, also with us. Bill, tell us on your end of the story here about this this merger and this teaming up, I guess, is a good way to put it. What does that mean for Hallucinex?
I mean, it's a great opportunity for Hallucinex in that you know, where we see the industry heading as a whole is there's going to be a requirement for a lot of science. And the thing that we liked most about Creso itself was the fact that it had a very strong pharmaceutical background, which was critical for us, especially as we start looking at building our pipeline for future product development. And infrastructure-wise, I mean, we see the industry as a whole that's going to require distribution down the road. And obviously, Creso, through its relationships that it's established beachhead in a lot of areas, is certainly a huge advantage to us. As we move forward, the key thing that we saw with psychedelics was that it was another integral part of the mental wellness program. So if you start looking at nutraceuticals, you start looking at medicinal cannabis. Obviously, psychedelics is the next untouched area, and in my opinion, it will be more lucrative than the cannabis industry.
All right, so the company currently focused on a two-stage trial, I should say, studying the effectiveness of psilocybin when it comes to treating PTSD in veterans. Tell us about the trial.
Yeah, what we found is, especially in our early days within the cannabis industry, is that a lot of the veterans and the first responders that are out there, a lot of individuals are taking medicinal cannabis. At the same time, what we're finding is that at least these were some of the observations, was that depression and anxiety were still occurring. And as a result, there was a lot of individuals that we knew of that were actually using basically what we call organic or the plant itself. So as a result, we kind of realized that the next logical step was going to be looking at treatment-resistant depression. We saw that synthetic psilocybin was going to be an integral part of doing the treatment delivery. And we said, well, there's enough evidence that's out there now to show that there's safety. Well, what about if we start looking at the efficacy side? So consequently, what we looked at is moving forward with a phase 2 clinical trial. So, which is an elongated process, above and beyond the fact that we still have to go through on the infrastructure side to apply for a controlled substance license, to have a facility that will be able to basically be able to house psychedelic compounds. So, we've gone through the motions over the last year by outfitting our clinic with a 6,000 square foot clinic. We've converted, some of the area for a treatment, psychotherapy treatment room. We have our laboratory that's been established. We've gone through our Health Canada security requirements, and we've also most recently gone through our on-site inspection. So we're very hopeful and bullish that we'll have that our license in a very short term. And the beauty of having the license is that it gives us the opportunity to not only play with the product and the research side, whether we create our own version of synthetic psilocybin, or if we start getting into the botanical side and looking at extraction and compounds and looking at things associated with the efficacy. But the beauty is that you need to have the license in order to be able to be in receipt of a synthetic compound. And that's the biggest thing for us. And in order to, once you do have the ability to receive, well, then a clinical trial is an absolute. So we've, over the last 9 months, have gone through the motions of, we've done our literature review. We've gone through and we've done our protocol design. We're now looking at our stability testing, and we're hopeful to have that complete, and we'll get our clinical trial application in Health Canada for review in very short term. So we're pretty excited.
Bill Fleming, President and CEO of Hallucinex Life and Sciences, joining us. Let's talk a little bit about the challenges that the company faces. I mean, this is a new territory when it comes to the research side of psilocybin. So, first point, talk a little bit about maybe some of the possible challenges that the company faces when conducting these trials, and then upon completion of the trials, successful completion, obviously, where does the company see the market being for these products?
So whenever there's challenges that are out there, you always got to look to de-risk. And from our perspective, what we understand is having a strong science team. So we've gone out and we've recruited individuals that that have PhDs in chemistry, that are that have experience in the dealing with controlled substances. So if you can continue to de-risk as much as you can, it will make things a lot easier for you. Our most critical thing in all of this is having an understanding of the compounds, right? Having an understanding of how you deal with extraction and how this is going to be applied to future product, future drug development. So consequently, once we have our phase 2 trial complete, which we expect to have rolled up into Q1 of 2022, then we think that that'll be enough of a benchmark that funding, I wouldn't say funding agencies, but payers such as whether it's Veteran Affairs Canada and others will be able to sit back and say, they've gone through, they've looked at this, and they looked at the science, they've looked at the efficacy. We feel that this is a treatment program that should be funded. And if that's the case, then what we see is a lot of companies that are, at least for us in particular, that we'll be able to create a modality based on our treatment programs that we'll be able to start going out and securing relationships with a lot of the medical clinics, a lot of the providers, and not only provide them with our methodology, but also be in a position that we can provide them with finished product at the same time. So that's the plan for our go-to-market strategy.
As we mentioned at the beginning, this is a space that is almost on a daily basis becoming more and more popular and more talked about, getting more and more press. What advantages does the company have now with the backing of Acresso Pharma?
I think the biggest thing is, I keep coming back to the fact that, science and efficacy is what's going to win this game. And if you've got the right players in place, if you've got the right relationships, it's still big pharma, no matter how you look at it, especially in the early days. And that's how we have to stay focused. And when we looked at the Acresso relationship, we saw that value and the fact that they have a great team. This is a company that's headquartered in Switzerland. You can't ask for better jurisdiction to be able to tap into. More importantly, it's the relationships that they bring to the table. And those are the types of things that we see as an absolute for us, especially as we look to not only take on the Canadian market, but also have a global presence at the same time.
Bill Fleming, President and CEO of Hallucinex Life and Sciences, and Jack Yu, Managing Director of Mernova, the Canadian subsidiary of Acresso Pharma. It's been a pleasure, guys. Best of luck on the combination.
Thank you.
There you go, guys. A little bit of a look at a new entrant into the psychedelic medicine space with Hallucinex Life and Sciences being acquired by Acresso Pharma. Guys.
Thank you very much, Brendan. And gonna come back. Always good to have an interesting interview. Just to update you guys, I know a lot of you are watching JFIN fading to the downside here. It just halted down and then reopened just a couple of minutes or so ago during the interview. Watch out for like a 1050 level VWAP also on a bit of a dip. It was a good little pullback there to that range. So coming back in, not as rapidly as it went to, almost as rapidly as it came to the upside, but a big test here at that 1050 area. It's going to be a big one, I think, for JFIN. And it looks like it's trying to bounce off VWAP. We've seen that play before. I just want to update you guys because I know we only have like a minute or two or so to go. I think we're both in this one here, Sean. But consolidation, LAZR not really doing much of anything. I see you guys in the chat looking for an update. But consolidation off of that breakdown. I waited for 65, so I have a 67 long. I'm looking to see if it can't test first at 85, then into VWAP, and then hopefully hold back into a push. If we can getting to 30s would be happy for me, especially working off these lows that it's made. Triple bottom here at 28 even, Sean.
Yeah, while you guys were gone, we took Ether again and hit that one through VWAP at upside. We got out way too early, but now we're at 87.88. And yeah, just to update you guys, I actually wound up buying more Cardano. Didn't sell. So let's wait to see what happens now. I bought more. I got out of Stellar, Lumens, XLM, and into some more ADA. So let's see if this continues to go. We just did touch 147. I hope that wasn't my order. This is on the Kraken exchange. So, okay, 146 to the upside right now. This looks like it wants to go. You know, Coinbase looks like it's going to be listing it. I don't know. I haven't logged into my Coinbase account or anything to find out. So we'll wait to see if that does go through. But very, very exciting for everybody today. It's been a big day. Once we go, Palantir still doing nothing, AMC doing nothing, everyone doing nothing. Ride right now downside a little bit as well. So a big day, good interview there. Let's find out if there's any earnings and what day it is whenever you guys are ready here, as we only have 10 seconds left. Daryl, guest of the day coming tomorrow. Should be a fun one.
I think Daryl might be coming next week.
Oh, next Friday. Okay.
Look, we're looking. That's how much we're looking forward to it. To see you on here on the show, Daryl. We wish it was tomorrow, but we'll see you next week. Brendan, some earnings here.
Yeah, as we've been mentioning, guys, we're getting to the end of the reporting season, but I mean, it's pretty obvious what we're going to be focusing on here. There's one front and center. Yeah, go ahead, guys, throw it up there. Nike coming tomorrow.
Yes, sir. I mean, hey, I also see Luminar up there. May or may not be looking at that stock as well. So, look, it's interesting earnings. The story really has been sort of the tech moves. Of course, watching some of these names that are in play. This is why we have the watch list for you. And that's one of the key things. You don't just look at an earnings board or upgrades and downgrades and say every single one of those is going to be a good trade. I thought maybe Nikola would move a little faster than it did. It did finally get me out in that bid, so I am happy. It overall is a win, but it's a sleepier trade than I anticipated. You know, it's interesting. I have not had one of these in a while. Wow, let's get the National Day out of the way here, Valeria, before we get out of here.
Neil and hey guys, thank you for trading with us today. I hope you enjoyed the show. And please join us tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time as usual. And guys, please don't leave without hitting your thumbs up. We need just 400 more likes to get 3,000 of them. And happy National Sloppy Joey Day, everyone.
Sloppy Joe's. Yeah, shout out to Adam Sandler there, Sloppy Joe's, and the man, the myth, the legend, Chris Farley. If you haven't seen the Sloppy Joe Saturday Night Live, we actually play that song in my house. So my kids love the Sloppy Joe song. Shout out to Chris Farley, one of the best ever. Valeria, legend, I guess you've never had a Sloppy Joe. No, well, it's basically ground beef with some kind of crazy sauce mixed together. I don't think it's very healthy, and then you put it on some sort of a bun. But I like the Sloppy Joes, but I think Neil's right, man. I haven't had that in a while. We did make it for our kids. Like I said, that's a great SNL. It's Lunch Lady Land. Okay, guys. Lunch Ladyland. It's fantastic. Google it. Play it on your Spotify. Let's go.
For the kids out there, you gotta check that out. It's an awesome sketch. My daughter hasn't had a Sloppy Joe. Got to rectify that one for you guys. It's been an awesome show. Thank you guys for all the support. Lots of good symbols that you guys are giving us in the chat, and we're trying to talk about what's moving here for you guys every single day. And we, of course, will always be back tomorrow. For the entire team right down the line, we've got to get you a Sloppy Joe at some point, Miss V. For my man Sean Katina, and for Brendan Wickens doing a fantastic job as always with another great interview. I'm Neil Roberts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.